Touchdown, Wisconsin! Fight fans, welcome back to the fastest growing MMA promotion in the Midwest, Apfc, as we lock in for our 17th installment of high caliber action here at the sold out Potawatomi Casino in the heart. The event features a steamroller in MMA veteran El Matador Emmanuel Sanchez. A decorated workhorse like no other, the former two-time Touchdown, Wisconsin! Fight fans, welcome back to the fastest growing MMA promotion in the Midwest, Apfc, as we lock in for our 17th installment of high caliber action here at the sold out Potawatomi Casino in the heart of Milwaukee. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Fight fans, welcome back to the fastest growing MMA promotion in the Midwest, Apfc, as we lock in for our 17th installment of high caliber action here at the sold out. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Fight fans, welcome back to the fastest growing MMA promotion in the Midwest, Apfc.
box. I moved it a tiny bit. And
the cable?
Yeah, I got a cable.
As long as it's working, it works as it's physical. There's no stand to those? Like no. Platform. Hey, let's do this. Let's swap this out.
Alright.
Take these out for me.
Take what?
Let's take these two out for me.
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, they go in here?
Yeah, so that's out.
It might be the monitor. It's going again. Yeah, see, it's going in and out. It might be the monitor.
Let's go.
Let's see up. Sorry, man.
Hey, Michael, do you want to run through that case really quick, or do you want to? All right. I'm thinking Fernando Perea, Elijah Katrell, Cody Peterson, Jacques Gooch.
Yeah, no Andrew.
Yep. Frankie Fitzgerald, Logan Stump, Miguel Gutierrez, John Medina, Leo Sabala, Elijah Abels, James Moreno, Diego Rodriguez, Abimael Martinez, Danny Martinez, Kobe Creger, Pierre Brown, Joseph Arroyo, Dominic Heath, Angelo Pettis, Paul Bergen.
I thought it was Bergen.
Bergen, we'll go Bergen.
Yeah.
Jose Vasquez,
Yep.
Dylan Cox,
Yep.
Martin Velasquez, Lorenzo Trevino, Matt Leonard,
Tag Morale.
Tag Morao, Yasir Ramos, Dimitri Miller, Sergio Placencia, Mephi Monteroso, Miguel Sanson, James Dunn, Emmanuel Sanchez, Zach Zane. Beauty.
Welcome to APFC 17. We kick things off right away with our first bout of the evening. This fight, 3 rounds going down in the APFC featherweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first, is fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Elijah Katrell.
Folks,
welcome inside to the sold-out Potawatomi Casino. First man making the walk tonight, it's Elijah Katrell. 1-0 as an amateur representing Green Bay, Wisconsin. Cornered tonight by Troy Polson, Jordan Bird, and Brian Bautista. David Evans, he goes by the term long night, so I imagine that he's going to make this arduous for his opponent here tonight.
Very much so, Ben. We spoke to him yesterday, and he kind of gave us the background story. He said a previous opponent during the face-off told him that he was going to have a long night. However, he ended up submitting that opponent in an armbar twice in one fight, and his opponent had a long night, so he turned the tables, and I'm excited to see what he does here tonight.
Did he elaborate on how he finished his opponent twice in one fight?
He said something to the tune of the ref initially stopped the armbar because I guess the kid kicked him in the back of the head while he had him in an armbar. He thought the ref was stopping the fight because the armbar was so deep. However, they repositioned him. He got the armbar again, and then the kid tapped out, and that's how that ended up happening. So.
Well, I think that's the real sign that you're an expert in that position. Hey, you can get it once, but can you do it twice?
Exactly, man. I'm excited to see this young kid get in there and perform.
Training and sharpening the skills at Killer Bee Fight Team. 18 years young. David Evans, this guy is a youngster. He can't even legally drink.
Hey, he can't legally drink, but he can legally get in there and fight, and we can watch him with a drink, and it's going to be a good one.
Green Bay, Wisconsin's own Elijah Katrell here for his second amateur MMA bout.
He's fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Angel Perea.
A very festive beat accompanying Anel Fernando Perea, Milwaukee's own, 5 years older than Elijah Katrell, cornered tonight by Cameron Gallagher, Scott Seabright, Benjamin Schultz, goes by the nickname Santos. David Evans, that's a menacing nickname if I've ever heard one.
Well, Santos actually has a very unique story. It's actually his dad's name. He's fighting here on Father's Day. I believe his late father, if I'm not incorrect there, he said his family and the people that know him started calling him after his late father, which was Santos.
We've seen a lot of representatives from this Primal Milwaukee gym, David. When you think about the tools and the attributes that these prospects have, I mean, it's all about being well-rounded at Primal.
Very, very well-rounded. I fought, a few of those guys from Primal. They're very tough. They have a great room there, and I think he's going to be a testament to that as he steps into the APFC cage tonight.
Let's take it to a tail of the tape for our first fight of the night in the featherweight division. Milwaukee's own Angel Perea, 1-0. Elijah Katrell the same. 5-year age differential with Angel being the elder, but he will be giving up 4 inches in height. Both came in at the featherweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Cats.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the beautiful Potawatomi Casino Event Center here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for APFC 17, presented by Anthony Showtime Pettis. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Featherweight Division, sponsored by Combat Corner and Cat's Law. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he officially weighed in at 145 1/2 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 1 victory with no defeats, and he is fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Elijah Long Night Katrell. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter standing 5 feet 6 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 145.9 pounds. And he comes in tonight with a record of 1 victory with no defeats. He is fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Angel Santos Perea. And your referee in charge is Tom DeVellis.
Tom DeVellis getting us going here in our first fight of the evening at APFC 17. Elijah Katrell, the 18-year-old in the white and black trunks. Anel Perea in the black and red. Round number 1 underway.
Santos coming out right away, leading with that strong jab, you know, closing that height differential that his opponent may have.
And that was the big question, David Evans, is how can Santos mitigate these physical advantages that Katrell possesses? Santos trying to lock up the neck posture from Perea. Pretty all right there.
You know, up until this point, he was doing a great job with his head movement and just pressuring in. However, Katrell was able to take his back now with Pierre looking to threaten Nakamura. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it with the position that Katrell has. He has both of his legs locked up with a semi-figure 4 position. He's in a dominant position on top. He just has to keep that right arm close as to not let his opponent extend it.
2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock here in round number 1. Elijah Katrell, his lone victory coming by way of submission, but Santos maybe trying to tap him out. David Evans, Katrell wise to it.
Looked like Katrell could have been in danger there for a split second, just kind of let that arm get away from him, and as you see, Santos was right on it. However, he made the adjustment. Now Santos on top. Katrell doing a great job using the legs. Looked like he's going to transition to an arm bar after threatening the triangle slightly. His hips are angled off. He's in a good position to execute this armbar.
Katrell with those long appendages creating sort of a spider's web on the ground, David Evans.
Yes, but in Santos' regard, with his shorter limbs, all he needs to do is get his right elbow past the hip of Katrell to defend, and it doesn't look like there's going to be much defending.
Green Bay getting it done in enemy territory of Milwaukee. Elijah Katrell keeping the 100% finishing rate intact and looking good while doing it. 18 years young, David. That man is someone to look out for.
18 years young, he made it a short night. You know, despite his nickname there. Unfortunately, you know, we're in a casino, so he's going to have to get kicked out right after this fight. I've been there. It's okay.
Can't hang around at all here in Potawatomi, but Katrell really minded the P's and Q's on the canvas, waited for his moment, and just snapped it up with such speed, David.
Yeah, he didn't rush the process. I liked what I saw. He definitely, you know, that armbar started from the threat of the triangle, actually. Started from the threat of the triangle. I believe we're going to get a replay of it. Here we go. We get a replay here. The finish, I mean, it was perfect. He didn't rush it. The second he felt like he had it clamped in, his knees were tight. I don't think there was any escape in there for Santos.
And great wherewithal for Katrell to put Santos's wrist right in the middle of his chest as well, right? No real room for Santos to try and flexibility his way out of that.
Very technically proficient technique and execution there by Katrell. I mean, at 18 years old, he's off to the races here.
I love it. Well, let's set it inside to the voice of APFC, handsome Michael Hansen, to make that stoppage official.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee, Tom DeVellis, put a stop to the fight. The official time, 1 minute 33 seconds of round number 1. Declaring your winner by submission via armbar, Elijah Long Night Katrell.
Long night with the short work to kick off APFC 17. And undamaged as well, David. When you think about a guy who can hop back in there next month, I feel like Elijah Katrell just put himself at the top of the list.
Very clean performance there by Katrell. As we saw, his opponent Santos was looking to get right after it almost immediately. He took a few punches but made the adjustment, got his opponent in, got him to the ground, executed a beautiful technique and a finish there. And yeah, I mean, he could probably fight tomorrow if he wanted to.
Well, let's keep the action rolling here in the Potawatomi Casino. Back inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC welterweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jacques Gooch.
David Evans, I must be honest with you. I have never been as excited to commentate a fighter's performance as I am right now. It's the long-awaited debut of Jacques Gooch.
Jacques Gooch, we talked to him yesterday. He seems to be a very calm and confident fighter as he steps into the cage. I mean, he said he's nothing but a gym rat. Spends all of his free time training and preparing for moments like this.
Has yet to find a victory in his young amateur career, 29 years young, representing 0 to 100 fitness and mixed martial arts, cornered tonight by Marlon Culpepper and Benjamin Copeland. When you think about Jacques Gooch, this is a guy who has gone out there 2 times, has yet to get the hand raised, but David, he's back for a 3rd.
You know, I like it. You know, 0-2, you take 2 losses. I mean, MMA is a sport. You don't do this for fun. You don't do it to try to prove something to yourself. I mean, 0-2, he is undetoured from being a champion. He is undetoured from getting that victory, and I mean, that's something that's going to carry him through many situations in fights.
Amateur debut was October 2024. In April of this year, suffered a unanimous decision setback to Auden Saint-Germain. But now this could be the time for Jacques Gooch to right the wrongs and set sail into the win column. David, when you think about confidence, it is oozing out of the Gooch as he walks into the APFC cage for the very first time.
Calm, cool, collected, stoic as he steps into the APFC cage.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, fighting out of Delavan, Wisconsin, Cody Peterson.
Cody Peterson building up the suspense. You can hear this early prelim crowd get loud for Delavan's own. Cornered tonight by Diego Avila and Nick Fisher, representing Avila Combat Laboratories. Cody Peterson, the same exact career position that the Gooch is in, 0-2, seeking a victory in his 3rd amateur outing.
I'll tell you what, neither one of these guys have anything to lose, and that's going to make for a great fight. I expect both of them to get after it with just reckless abandonment tonight. Not only trying to, you know, prove to themselves that, hey, I'm a winner. I'm not what my record says I am.
Cody Peterson made his APFC debut in November 2024. That was a split decision setback to Leonel Sabala. And whenever you have a split decision defeat, David, I feel in your mind there is a reality, a timeline in which you should have gotten your hand raised.
I definitely agree with you, Ben, on that. I mean, despite, you know, not being there, not seeing exactly how the fight necessarily went, or not judging, so to speak, as a competitor, it's always in the back of your mind, what could I have done? Did I really do what I should have done? And maybe someone just saw it a different way. It's definitely something to wrestle with.
Let's take it to a tail of the tape for our 2nd fight of the evening between Cody Peterson and Jacques Gooch. This welterweight showdown features 2 athletes, 0-2. Somebody's O has got to go. 1 year separates them, with Delavan's Cody Peterson being the elder, and he will have 3 inches in height. This tale of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC welterweight division, sponsored by Wisconsin National Guard. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and officially weighed in at 170 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 2 defeats and fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jacques Gooch. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and weighed officially 171 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 2 losses and fighting out of Delavan, Wisconsin, Cody Peterson. And your referee in charge is Tom DeVellis.
Tom DeVellis, 3rd man inside for this welterweight clash. 2 defeated opponents. 1 man finds their first victory in mixed martial arts.
All right,
Jacques Gooch in the camo trunks. Cody
We're
Peterson
go.
in the black and red. Round number 1 underway. Peterson already on the Gooch. Right hand lands.
Peterson coming out with a bomb of a right hand, just put in Gooch. Gooch is back against the cage, but Gooch is right in on a beautiful shot, gets the back here, Peterson.
Excellent wherewithal from Gooch, taking some fire from Cody Peterson and switching to the grappling and level changing in. 30 seconds gone by in round 1.
30 seconds, but we're definitely getting our money's worth as far as action is concerned. Right now we have Gooch with Peterson just grinding him against the cage. We're seeing those slight knees there by Jacques Gooch.
When we think about those minor strikes, these sort of clinch fighting blows, most people maybe wouldn't rate those as significant or damage inducing, but David, they're annoying strikes.
Definitely annoying, but more than anything, it's the position, right? This is where a lot of the effort is taking place in a fight. You know, we like the exciting striking from range. We like the takedowns from range, but this is a grueling part of a fight here where you just have Gooch grinding Peterson against the cage. And Peterson right now is defending, you know, not only the pressure, but he doesn't want to let Gooch get his neck. He has to isolate the hands. He has to fight and create space within his hips to get out of this position. There's a lot going on here right now.
Gooch momentarily dropped low, trying to finagle his way to get Cody to the mat. Peterson trying to turn in. Gooch glued to him. Now Peterson with a bit of separation. Gooch eliciting some blows with the right hand. This is a great version of Gooch, David.
Gooch is just chipping away. He's doing everything right now.
Oh, Peterson able to reverse and turn. Gooch right on him.
Great job by Peterson. Now he's in a much better position with his back against the cage as opposed to having Gooch on his back. Now look for him to transition and try to get turn Gooch, which he just did. Now he's more in an offensive position here in the clinch against the cage.
You know, we just saw in the first fight of the night a physical disadvantage and how Santos tried to deal with it. Gooch kind of doing the same, but Cody reversing now on top.
Very slick technique there by Peterson, isolating that elbow there and then doing a bit of a trip and now stepping over to mount then.
This is bad news for the Gooch. Cody Peterson pounding away on Jacques Gooch. 30 seconds left in round number 1. Can Gooch survive?
Gooch doing just that, surviving right now. What he needs to do with his opponent having full mount, he needs to push off of those knees and slide his hips up and try to get into a full guard position.
Take a close look here. This could be it. Jacques Gooch trying to survive. Round number 1 coming to a close. Can Gooch make it to the second frame? And he survives. By an inch, David Evans.
Able to survive there. I mean, a wealth of barrage of shots there by Peterson. Nothing particularly devastating. However, we do see a cut over the left eye there of Gooch.
Brief laceration on the Gooch as he heads to the stool. A very frustrating and demoralizing end to round number 1. David Evans, when you think about the first frame of this, Gooch was looking good, but man, it went from good to bad quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great hip trip there by Cody Peterson off of the cage. Did a great job isolating that far arm there of Gooch. Then transitioned right into mount, and right there, I mean, this was almost the end of the fight. Just a barrage of punches here. Like I said, nothing devastating. I think that's what kind of kept Gooch in the fight from the referee's perspective, but just chipping away here.
Tom DeValise really letting Jacques Gooch survive and try and work out of that position. I fear in round number 2, he won't extend the same courtesy to Gooch.
No, I mean, they're both familiar with each other. They got the feel. They got the rub from each other now. Let's see. We saw a great shot there by Gooch. I think he's going to be a little bit confident in his wrestling.
Gooch Peterson, round 2 underway. Gooch on the outside. Eats a jab.
Peterson doing a great job taking the center right away. Catching that teep there by Gooch.
Gooch trying to unload. Peterson almost lands on the break. Seems like a lack of confidence now from Jacques Gooch.
He's definitely a bit more reserved. I mean, he came into this fight pretty stoic. We saw a bit of explosion with the beautiful shot in the first round. But now, maybe after feeling that pressure from Peterson on top, he's a little reluctant to get back in a situation where Peterson can capitalize again.
Leg kick for Gooch. Eats a front kick to the body. Wears it well. Cody Peterson cutting off the cage in pretty decent form here, David.
He's doing a great job just stalking, throwing the jab out. We saw the rear teep. Keeping Gooch at bay here, at his range here, and just almost landing at will and just very calm, methodical pace by Peterson.
Winging right hand from Jacques Gooch. Millimeters from connecting on the skull of Cody Peterson. There's a right hand from Gooch.
And it only takes one, as we see Gooch brought that right hand from the rafters, landed it right on Peterson. Peterson rocked for a little bit, but now it just looks like it motivated him to get in a more advantageous position. Beautiful single leg takedown and transition here by Peterson.
90 seconds left in round number 2. Cody Peterson trying to get right back to where round 1 ended. If you're Jacques Gooch, what do you got to do to get back to your feet?
Right now, you need to create space between Peterson's hips right now. You see that left knee, he's sliding him in the middle here. He's doing a great job, but he needs to bring both knees through, which he's doing right now, and try to get into a guard position or even push off of the hips of Peterson. However, Peterson doing a great job transitioning in the side mount here, driving that right shoulder into the throat here of Gooch, which is going to pin him down to the mat. Right now, it's more of a battle of wills than anything. Gooch has to show, you know, how bad he doesn't want to be in this position and not get comfortable here.
Little knee on belly action from Cody Peterson. 40 seconds to go. Couple light strikes from Peterson. But he's going to start cooking the Gooch in the final 30 seconds here, David.
Peterson looking to knee slide right here in the full mount. Gooch looked like he was going to wall walk for a second. However, he aborted that, and Peterson right now is just kind of hanging on him, not giving him much space to breathe. We see him driving the elbow here into the chin of Gooch, just establishing the position more than anything.
On Gooch like glue, final 10 seconds. Cody Peterson not able to damage the Gooch as much as he did in round number 1. Trying to posture up at the end here. Round 3 up next between Jacques Gooch and Cody Peterson. David Evans, I think the Gooch needs a stoppage.
Yeah, if I'm a judge right now, I'm saying Peterson is up 2-0 on Gooch. I mean, we saw some explosiveness here from Jacques in this second round. A big right hand, overhand, as Peterson just left that left hand out there a little too long, and Gooch was able to capitalize. However, after that, Gooch did get a little bit too relaxed. You know, he allowed Peterson to establish the space and establish dominance. He needs to put the pedal to the metal and keep it on there this third round and possibly look for a finish.
What could be the tools to negate the success of Cody Peterson's cage cutting, because he is so good at corralling the Gooch?
I think it's a lot simpler than it looks. I mean, Gooch he can't get comfortable fighting on his back foot. You know, whenever he's on his back foot, Peterson is controlling the pace. He's controlling the fight from there. Gooch has to move forward. He has to throw his jab out. We need to see combinations. We saw a beautiful shot in the first round. Maybe feint some shots. High, low, throw up top, throw low, look for your shots. I think that's going to be the path to victory and a finish here for Gooch.
Round 3 underway. Both men winless in their careers. Gooch will need a substantial stoppage to push himself to the win column. Cody Peterson needs to fight smart as he's up 2 rounds.
Speaking of smart, great job by Peterson closing the distance, getting that body lock and outside trip. I mean, he's been able to control Gooch pretty much in the wrestling and grappling aspect of this fight, so why not get back right there? Now he has 2.5 minutes here to work, and as you see, he's just grinding, and he's going to get Gooch to open up somehow, some way, and land some big shots, as we saw.
And that was all teed up by Gooch, overcommitting on strikes like he's done in every round so far. Peterson, great vision to duck under and take the Gooch down.
Use your left hand to push down the leg. Left hand.
Right here we have Peterson in half guard, grinding their right shoulder into the throat of Gooch. Not looking to advance necessarily right now, but look for him as he's doing for that left hand. He's going to push the knee down and try to slide his left knee in between the knees here of Gooch and maybe establish full mount. Now, we saw in the past when he got that full mount, he's not looking for submissions. He wants to create space and try to just rain down punches and do some damage here.
Gooch trying to mitigate this arm triangle position. Peterson moving that right arm up. Looks like he is applying some pressure, David.
He's doing a great job just pinning Gooch down. I mean, even though it may look like Gooch isn't doing much, it's not a lack of effort. It's simply Peterson is doing all of the right nuances, pinning his chin down with his shoulder, great hip pressure, keeping his head over the head of Gooch. And he's just, anytime Gooch is able to establish some type of tie or lock on the legs, Gooch is breaking it and looking to advance the full mount. I mean, this is another position where it may not look like much is happening, but Ben, there's a lot happening right now.
Clinical work from Cody Peterson as we come to the final 60-second stretch. The first win in his amateur career is just an arm's length away. Can the Gooch find some separation and a miracle, though, at the end of round 3?
45 seconds left in round 3. Gooch is holding on. He needs to be doing the exact opposite. He needs to look to try to get in positions where he can push Peterson off of him. At this point, I wouldn't even be opposed to giving your back to try to get up. I mean, you have 30 seconds left. You're down 2 rounds.
And what they always suggest as the smartest tactic, right, the path of least resistance. And Cody Peterson clocked a grappling upside and has just used it beautifully through these 3 rounds against the Gooch. Final 10 seconds, Cody Peterson opening up, trying to leave a lasting impression on the Gooch. Raining down lefts and rights. The Gooch will survive, but Cody Peterson will be the one getting his hand raised for the first time here at APFC 17. David, the Gooch was a little too loose with the striking, and it cost him everything here at Potawatomi.
Little too loose, definitely way too reserved. I mean, we saw moments whenever he pulled the trigger, he had his really good moments, a great shot, big right hand, so he has the potential there. I just think he needs to get used to just letting go.
This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Final 10 seconds of round 3. Cody Peterson posturing up, raining down blows, which is exactly what you want to see from a young fighter. Some killer instinct from Peterson.
Yeah, great job by Peterson here. Whenever he was able to get a takedown and get to that mount position. Big right hand by Gooch there, followed by the left hook. I didn't see that initially, but, you know, it was just that. The second he stops, Peterson moves forward, and he allows Peterson back into the fight, and then ultimately he allowed him to walk away with this one.
Academic lessons for Jacques Gooch, but in all likelihood of unanimous decision victory for Cody Peterson. Let's find out by sending it inside to the voice of APFC handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And all 3 judges scored this bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Cody Peterson.
Last time out, it was a split decision defeat in his APFC debut. Now in his sophomore appearance, Cody Peterson outmuscles the Gooch to a decision victory, David.
I mean, he did everything right in this fight. He came out sticking the jab in his opponent's face. You know, once he established dominant positions, he never rested. He was always moving, looking to advance, rain down punches. I mean, that was a very, very good performance there by Cody Peterson.
Full fight replay, Jacques Gooch 0-2. Cody Peterson 0-2 as well. One man had the better strategy, and that was Cody Peterson.
Cody Peterson for sure. As we saw, Gooch had his moments. However, once Peterson made the adjustment, got to his grappling, got to his ground and pound, and was definitely always looking to advance at every portion of the fight. You know, he definitely took some punches there. We see that big right hand from Gooch, who was never not in the fight. He just never really did enough. But Peterson did more than enough, establishing takedowns, establishing good dominant positions on the ground, and when he did, looking for his ground and pound, and that was the path to victory there for Cody Peterson.
David Evans, I'll just be as transparent as I can be. While he is 0-3 in his amateur career, I'd love to see Jacques Gooch back, man. Let's give this kid another shot. I love it. Well, let's keep the action rolling here in the Potawatomi Casino and send it inside to Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds in the APFC at a catch weight of 140 pounds. And now making the walk to the cage first, he's fighting out of Kaukauna, Wisconsin, Logan Stump.
The next big thing potentially from Kokona, Wisconsin. Logan Stump making the amateur debut, David.
Yeah, I talked to Stump. He was very confident, even though he's making his debut. I mean, he feels as if he's trained and prepared. He has a great wrestling pedigree that he believes is going to carry him through this fight.
Representing Resurgence Mixed Martial Arts corner tonight by Andrew and David Kowzlerick. 5'6", so giving up an inch, but like you mentioned, there is just confidence that he seems to have in this debut that would suggest that while he might be fighting for the first time tonight, those gym wars, probably something to see.
He definitely has a confidence for a young kid stepping into the cage this time. He doesn't really seem to be fazed or blinded by the lights. You know, as I said earlier, I spoke to him. He said he's been in many battles in the gym. He said he has great training partners. He said his wrestling pedigree, you know, and his experience there is going to separate him from anyone else that has the same amount of experience as himself.
No bigger platform in the Midwest to make her debut on. Here is Kokona's Logan Stump.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, he's fighting out of Racine, Wisconsin, Frankie Fitzgerald.
While the amateur debut of Frankie Fitzgerald didn't go his way in April of this year, he returns 2 months later back for more on a bigger platform to prove to everybody that that debut was not representative of what Frankie Fitzgerald can do, David.
You know, and I like the resilience here, hopping right back into the cage, you know, after a debut that didn't go his way. I mean, he just seems to just want to get right after it. I mean, I love it.
Representing Dave Strasser's Freestyle Academy, cornered tonight by Benny Garcia, Racine, Wisconsin's Frankie Fitzgerald. Looking as tatted up as can be. I mean, there's not an inch of this guy you can put more ink on. Let's take it to a tail of the tape for our third fight of the evening. This bantamweight clash between Logan Stump and Frankie Fitzgerald. The debut for Kokona's own Fitzgerald, 0-1. He will have 8 years in age and 1 inch on the youngster. Both came in at the bantamweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Cat's Law.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC at a catch weight of 140 pounds. Sponsored by Pettis Martial Arts. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. He officially weighed in at 139.4 pounds. He steps into the APFC cage tonight, making his debut. He's fighting out of Kokona, Wisconsin, Logan Stump. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 139.4 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 1 loss and fighting out of Racine, Wisconsin, Frankie Fitzgerald. And your referee in charge is Chris Claviter.
Chris Claviter, third man inside for this bantamweight bout. The debut of Kokona's own Logan Stump and the man seeking redemption, Frankie Fitzgerald. Round number 1 underway. Fitzgerald in the white trunks, Stump in the all black.
Here we have the southpaw versus the orthodox fighter. We got Stump with the height advantage. Look for him to be able to fire that long right hand down the middle. However,
free trick first class on Stump Airlines, David.
I guess he said forget the striking. You know, as I said during his walkout, he believed that his wrestling pedigree was going to be the difference maker here tonight. He did a great job level changing, getting into the legs, and slamming Fitzgerald down.
David, I had some questions about maybe the physicality differential, 8-year age advantage for Frankie Fitzgerald, but Logan Stump had no issues at all elevating him up into the ceiling.
No, I mean, Stump definitely has that strength. I mean, there's something to speak for age here, especially in MMA. We say old men strength, right? Fitzgerald probably has, and that's probably why Stump is having a hard time getting his head away from Fitzgerald right now and the posture up, because I'm pretty sure, even though he's just holding on, that grip by Fitzgerald is just kind of constricting and restricting for Stump here.
I gotta say, isn't that such a tough stereotype, old man strength, but he's only 30 years old? That's a young man.
Hey, MMA is a young man's game at the end of the day. Trust me, I'm in it at 31, man. I'm just now getting into it, man.
Once we get these 9-year-olds debuting, David Evans, that's when we'll see the real.
Oh, it'll be here sooner than later, I guarantee you.
Talk about sooner than later. Stump in full mount, raining down some hell on Fitzgerald.
Stump doing a great job just, you know, controlling the position here. He has full mount. What I think he needs to do is push off of the face here of Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald doing a great job just covering up.
Frankie Fitzgerald stuck on bottom, trying to push Stump up, destabilize him. Can he build back up?
Almost. I mean, you want to talk about old man and strength. He literally just bench pressed Stump almost and got into a better position here. But Stump did a great job, made the adjustments, you know, re-solidified the full mount, and now raining down punches there.
These are some heavy blows now. Stump going for the rear naked choke, and it is done! Logan Stump with a first-round submission in his amateur debut, David.
Stump was very calm. I'm impressed by that. I mean, he was aggressive when he needed to be. Got in, took that shot, dumped Fitzgerald on his head damn near, excuse my language, and then just really got to work. I mean, there were some moments here, and I'm sure we'll get a replay, where Fitzgerald was still in the fight. I mean, he was looking to advance, looking to get in a better position, but here's that beautiful double leg, outside double leg there by Stump. Almost lost it, transitioned to the other side, made the necessary adjustments, got the full guard, was raining down punches here on Fitzgerald. I mean, there was any moment where it looked like this could have possibly been the end, Ben. However, once he saw the moment to get that neck, he snatched it up, and that was all she wrote.
And he swung that choking arm right as Frankie Fitzgerald was trying to transition. Great vision from the youngster Logan Stump. 8-year age disadvantage, but he manhandled his elder here tonight. I love it. Well, let's make that first round submission official and send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee, Chris Leviter, put a stop to the fight. The official time coming in 2 minutes, 14 seconds of round number 1. Declaring your winner by submission via rear naked choke, Logan Stump.
Now 1-0 as a amateur.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Logan Stump, making his debut in the APFC cage. Maybe you'll have many more interviews here to come. How did it feel stepping into the cage tonight?
Man, it's a whole different story. I've been working for a long time for this. Excited to finally get this on the road.
We talked about your wrestling pedigree. You told me yesterday after weigh-ins you thought that would be the difference maker here tonight, and it showed true. Can you speak to your training process and wrestling and how you incorporated that in your game plan tonight?
I mean, wrestled my whole life, obviously. Strong grappling base, bring it to MMA. It's the best base for MMA, so use my grappling. I said I was going to land some ground and pound. He was going to give up his neck and get a rear naked choke, so got that done.
You went out there, had a clean performance. Congratulations, Logan Stump, everyone.
Mystic Logan Stump saw it, conceived it, perceived it, and believed in it. Kakuna's own, wrapping up the neck of Frankie Fitzgerald in record-breaking speed. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Excellent takedown, just putting Fitzgerald 30,000 feet in the air, controlled him, levied some excellent strikes on top to get Fitzgerald to try and maneuver and buck him off. And when Fitzgerald made a break for it, David, he got sentenced to a rear naked choke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC featherweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first, is fighting out of Coupe, Puerto Rico, John El Corsario Medina.
John Medina is back for more here in his 3rd APFC appearance. Started off his promotional debut, not the best against Johnny Malagusis, but what a bounce back he had against Steven Chicos at APFC 12 last year, now kicking off his 2025 campaign. David Evans, when we think about exciting fighters, this 24-year-old is the dictionary definition.
Yeah, Medina, he's definitely someone, he's going to go out there and get after it right away. He's an athletic kid. He comes from a good camp. He's definitely going to be an exciting one to watch tonight.
All the Puerto Rican talent that we have is truly fantastic. That man, Carlos Moreno, initially slated for a bout tonight against Israel Vargas. Our prayers and best wishes are with Israel in his recovery. Hopefully we rebook that soon. But now he's cornering John Medina alongside Josh Ailman and Carlos Candelario. David, when we think about the bounce back that Medina had from the loss to Malagusis to the win over Chicos, he looked like a completely different fighter.
I mean, you speak about the loss to Malagusis, that's definitely not one to hang your head over. I mean, Malagusis is a tough fighter, great power, and pressure wrestler, and he's a lot to deal with. But, I mean, what it looks like is he definitely made the adjustments. He's a young kid. He has a lot of time. He has a good camp behind him. It looked like they went in there, they analyzed that loss, and was like, hey, what do we need to do to be better? And he did just that. And I'd imagine going into the cage, he plans on being even better tonight.
El Corsario back for his 3rd APFC appearance.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, he is fighting out of Carpentersville, Illinois, Misfit, Miguel Gutierrez.
The misfit, Miguel Gutierrez, has always been searching for a place to belong, and now making the walk for his 4th APFC appearance, David Evans. I'd say he's found it underneath this promotion's banner.
For sure, Ben. He's definitely an exciting fight to watch. He's been in some wars in here. He's had some great wins. I mean, he's definitely a guy that's going to look to go out there and get in his opponent's face right away. He believes that he's good anywhere, everywhere. He said he can take the fight standing up. He can take it on the ground. He's willing to take it wherever he needs to take it to get a win tonight.
2025 has been kind to Miguel Gutierrez, finding a 1st-round submission over Cameron Cougar at APFC 16. That was March. Now in June, he's back for more against the Puerto Rican John Medina. When you think about Mango Combat Sports, right, what Doug Mango is doing at that gym, it's creating killers, David.
Hey, creating killers indeed, and we have one here tonight. We have Gutierrez stepping in the cage against a tough opponent, and I think that's just going to bring the best out of both of these fighters.
Miguel Gutierrez, the brother of UFC's Mando Gutierrez, who is here cornering him alongside John Vito and aforementioned Doug Mango. Let's take it to a tail of the tape for this amateur featherweight clash. Puerto Rico's John Medina, 2-1 overall. He will be 3 years older than the misfit Miguel Gutierrez, who boasts an impressive record of 3-3. Each guy 5'7", and both came in at the featherweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC featherweight division, sponsored by Wisconsin Athletic Club. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 7 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 146.1 pounds. He comes in tonight with a record of 2 victories with 1 defeat. Damas y caballeros, presentando al luchador de Cube Alto, Puerto Rico, Jacques, el Corsario Medina. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and officially weighed in at 146.8 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 3 victories with 3 losses and fighting out of Carpentersville, Illinois, Misfit, Miguel Gutierrez. And your referee in charge is Chris Claviter.
Chris Claviter, third man inside for this featherweight showdown. Both known APFC commodities. John Medina in the black shorts. Miguel Gutierrez in the white trunks. Round number 1 underway. David Evans, when you think about fun striking styles, both of these two very evenly matched.
Medina marching out right away. Tall stance, throwing hard leg kicks to Gutierrez.
Nice right hand up top from Medina. Now striking with the hooks. Gutierrez's right hand, though, is a piston, David Evans.
Yes, and he's throwing that lead left kick, too, as well, trying to maybe catch Medina as Medina is dipping his head in an attempt to just create angles.
No interest in grappling through 30 seconds. A firefight so far. We'll see who boasts a heavier caliber as Medina tries to bull rush into the pocket. Nice calf kick from the Puerto Rican.
Both strikers, but we're seeing the clashing of styles. Gutierrez has a more direct approach, whereas, Medina has a more direct approach in his striking. Right hands right down the middle, hard leg kicks. You just kind of got to get out of the way of it. Gutierrez, however, using his angles and his movement.
Looks like Gutierrez is already busted open a little bit. A laceration on the face, courtesy of those strikes from El Corsario. Nice shots from Medina on the break, David.
Great job striking on the exit there by Medina. Switching up, going left high head kick here.
Nice interception from Gutierrez. Again, that right hand from him packs a punch.
Medina definitely throws everything with ill intent. Gutierrez doing a great job using his head movement, stepping out, using his angles. But Medina just walking him down with strikes. Beautiful spinning leg kick there by Medina.
I'm unsure if it landed, but it looked good, David.
Hey, it was definitely a sight to see. Gutierrez doing a great job just tying up Medina, which I think this is going to be great for Gutierrez. Medina is a bit of a workhorse. You definitely have to grip him up, definitely weigh on him a little bit to take some steam off of those strikes, Ben.
Final minute of round number 1. Wayward spinning back fist there as Medina attacks downstairs to the body. Gutierrez now touching up top. It is just non-stop assault from Medina as he connects with a crushing right hand.
If this isn't rockin' soccer robots, I don't know what is right now, Ben. Beautiful up teeth there by Medina catching Gutierrez.
Gutierrez might be a little bit hurt from that front kick to the teeth. Now Medina again buttering up the ribs with that left leg.
Gutierrez definitely hurt a little bit, but not wavering. I mean, he's still in this, throwing and returning strikes as you see the blood raining down the face here of Gutierrez.
If there was any question about the toughness of Miguel Gutierrez, it's answered as he's engaging in the trenches with Puerto Rico's John Medina.
Great combinations there by Medina, throwing shots from both angles. We saw a right hand followed by a left uppercut, then switch stances, came right hook, left. I mean, just beautiful transitions with his striking.
Excellent fight so far between Puerto Rico's John Medina and the misfit Miguel Gutierrez. Gotta feel like Medina was the one winning most of those exchanges, but Gutierrez held his own, showed some, I would say, more well-roundedness and intuition in the grappling, David.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Gutierrez, he took a lot of strikes here, but he definitely gave some back. He was never not in this round. That was a very exciting round to watch. However, Medina, with his direct approach to striking, just throwing everything with ill intent right down the middle. Hard leg kicks, hard teeps up top, catching Gutierrez, man, and just staying on him, not giving him a second really to breathe.
David Evans, nothing like a good toenail to the canines is what I always say. And when you think about the diversity in striking and the levels at which John Medina is targeting, he's going head, leg, body, head, leg. Nowhere is safe from El Corsario. Now the question might become, though, cardio. How much did John Medina push in that first round? Round number 2 between John Medina and Miguel Gutierrez. Underway.
Go to the neutral corner, please. Go to the neutral corner.
In a moment.
Go to the neutral corner, please.
I believe the doctor stepping in and take a look at the cut here on Gutierrez. With it being right over that right eye, I mean, it could be a bit of an annoyance and can cause problems long term for Gutierrez. I believe the doctor just doing his job right now.
Miguel Gutierrez not concerned at all with the long-term damage. He wants the short-term gain against Medina. Round 2 underway.
Both of these guys meeting right in the center of the cage. We see Gutierrez leading with that left hook here, following with the big right hand. Medina doing what he's always been doing, walking Gutierrez down with heavy strikes.
It's viciousness from El Corsario. Anytime you touch him with something, he wants to get that back. Nice kick from Gutierrez.
Good job by Gutierrez going low, maybe working on the legs of Medina will help kind of take the steam off of those strikes. I mean, you spoke about, you know, possibly there being an issue with, you know, just his cardio. He's throwing a lot of power here. Gutierrez doing a great job. Let's go to the grappling. Let's wear down Medina a little bit. You don't necessarily have to do damage, but let's drain that tank ever so slightly.
And it might make Medina more concerned about throwing these kicks if the takedown threat is presented to him. 2 minutes left in round number 2. Gutierrez, hands locked, but not able to complete. Now on the single, David.
A bit of a stalemate there on the single leg with Gutierrez. He doesn't even look like he was necessarily attempting to take him down or force the position there. Medina doing a great job, turning the tables, getting Gutierrez's back against the cage. These guys are just going back and forth, much like they have been this entire fight.
Medina, nice reversal there. 90 seconds left in round number 2 on the break. El Corsario trying to strike, mouth guard pops out for Miguel. Action continue, nice left hook from Miguel Gutierrez. Footwork circling out, front kick upstairs, a right hand from Medina. Miguel backing up.
Medina doing a great job. He throws those haymakers, big right hands, big hooks, but he throws the jab in the midst of them. That's the secret here. He's not just throwing hard punch combinations. It's the jab in between that's keeping Gutierrez on his back foot.
Gutierrez's corner is begging for him to go forward and push. Nice connection from him on the exit, but Medina lands with a right. Final minute of round 2, another leg kick for John Medina. What a symphony of strikes from Puerto Rico's John Medina. I'm loving the consistent front kick upstairs. And this pressure, I mean, man, the Puerto Rican not taking a foot off the gas.
A symphony for sure with that spinning back foot, spinning back fist, excuse me. Just kind of controlling Gutierrez's output right now because he just has to be defensive.
Medina can't miss. Miguel Gutierrez in on the takedown. The Puerto Rican remaining upright, David.
Gutierrez level change into the double leg, driving Medina against the cage here. I mean, definitely high ring IQ there by Gutierrez. He was taking a lot of damage, and Medina was looking to build off of that. Gutierrez putting a stop to it, changing the pace, controlling Medina here against the cage.
Round 2 is in the can. One more remains. A firefight between John Medina and Miguel Gutierrez. Gutierrez, the one getting chewed up a little bit more, but he's got 3 more minutes to make some magic happen, David.
Good job by Gutierrez. He started off the round chopping away at the legs. However, Medina did what he's known to do, marching forward with big, heavy strikes and just landing almost at will on Medina. That was a beautiful head kick, just glanced right over Gutierrez. Medina has been walking him down almost forcing Gutierrez to take shots here. And I think there's more there for Gutierrez if he maybe forces the wrestling and grappling in this fight. Every time he's done it, he's been able to get Medina's back against the cage. He's not taking damage. He can wear on his opponent a little bit. I think going into this third round, being down possibly 2 rounds, he needs to change things up a little bit.
John Medina looking unscathed as he enters the third and final round here against the misfit, Miguel Gutierrez.
Blue corner, be ready.
This is John Medina's most experienced foe yet, and so far, he is passing that test with flying colors.
Flying colors, spinning back fist.
Nice left from Miguel Gutierrez, now uncorking another combo. Medina storming into the pocket.
Medina coming in behind that jab. Gutierrez returning with a jab in combination of his own. Looking to get to the shot here. However, stuffed by Medina. Now Medina working. Has Gutierrez back against the cage. Look for him to maybe create some space and land some big strikes as he has been up to this point.
The challenge with grappling John Medina is with that Puerto Rican background in wrestling, right? Wrestling such a decorated discipline in Puerto Rico. It's going to be hard to get to his hips.
Not only that, I mean, throwing those strikes right down the middle, the teep down the middle, the jab down the middle, is going to keep Gutierrez at a distance. And Medina stepping in, beautiful right hook with the lead uppercut and spinning back fist to follow, barely misses there.
Medina trying to egg on Miguel Gutierrez, the misfit, shooting for the hips, tying up. 2 minutes left in round number 3. David, I do believe that Gutierrez is going to need to stop John Medina in order to get his hand raised.
Yes, Medina has been controlling the fight, but also doing a lot of damage here with those heavy strikes, man. And we thought cardio could possibly be an issue. I don't see that being the case for Medina. So Gutierrez needs to turn the tables and get Medina to the ground and see what kind of work he can do there.
Medina cracking with the right. Miguel giving him a piece back. Nice kick, lowers the misfit, but Miguel Gutierrez trying to build back with the wrestling, David.
Medina just pressure, throwing strikes, not necessarily even loading up, but finding his marker and just forcing Gutierrez to fight on his back foot here.
Medina's whole strategy seems to just be sit in front of you and touch you as much as he possibly can.
And Gutierrez is definitely wearing that strategy, you know, on his face. We see the damage, we see the cut here above the eye here of Gutierrez.
Medina has gone high with that head kick so many times, David, but he's yet to land it. How can he connect with that shin to the chin?
I think more than anything that head kick is a bit of a distraction. So Medina, is doing more damage with his hands, his knees, even when he throws the kicks, and that's where his success is, the kicks to the body. I think the head kick is just something to throw out there. I don't think he's determined to land it.
Final 20 seconds here. Medina grappling Gutierrez, smacking a kick to the ribs, staying on the misfit.
3-2 fit in. 3-2 fit in.
Talk about a fun affair at 145. Medina and Miguel Gutierrez going the distance with the Puerto Rican cracking at the end of round 3.
Hard shots and showmanship to end the fight there by Medina, in a fight that was.
Early contender for fight of the night for sure. John Medina leveling up every single time we see him in this cage. The fact that he's only 24 years young, David Evans. I mean, man, whoever steps in there with him next, good luck. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Medina cracking with the right hand, getting the head off the center line beautifully, and just staying on the pressure all fight long. Even when Miguel Gutierrez was landing counters and shots back, it did not deter Medina whatsoever. We'll say those spinning back fists and all those attempts could have been set up maybe a little bit better, but I will absolutely give John Medina credit for this impressive defensive grappling display. I don't believe Miguel Gutierrez landed a single takedown on El Corsario. And when you think about Miguel Gutierrez, right, having so many tests in his amateur career, finding these looks from striking Puerto Ricans and the grapplers that the Misfit has dueled with, getting so much great experience, I'd say both guys won in this. I wish we could have a, a victory on both sides, but alas, that's not how sports work. Amazing affair at 145. To find out the official decision, we send it inside to the voice of APFC, handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And all 3 judges scored this bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision. Taking it back to Coupe Alto, Puerto Rico, John El Corazario Medina.
John Medina finding.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, John Medina. John, wow, you never let off the gas in that one. Just hard-hitting action throughout the entire fight. I mean, we've seen some great performances by you before. I mean, can you walk us through this one?
Of course, man. And to be honest, not to be cocky or anything, we haven't seen shit. You haven't seen shit from me. And I'm going to prove that I'm here to stay. I'm here to be big, all right? This is my game now. Let's go.
Here to stay. What did you expect from Gutierrez coming into this cage? What was your strategy?
Man, I expected bomb from him. I know he wouldn't go down, so I tried to attack the body. He held up pretty well. My hat's off for him, man. Thank you for accepting the fight. I appreciate him for making me a way better fighter each round, man. I really am thankful.
That was a great, comprehensive, striking performance. I mean, you were throwing everything. We saw some bombs, huge right hands, left hooks, beautiful uppercuts, high head kicks, spinning back fists. Man, like, that has to be a testament to your training. Can you speak about your training camp and the trainers that prepared you for this fight?
Hell yeah. So if many people have seen my previous fight, they see me as a ground game. They see me as a wrestler. Fuck no, I'm everything. I'm here to stay. I'm here to be big, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm a wrestler. I'm a striker. I'm everywhere you put me at. I can move. I can move pretty well, so you can see.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, John Medina.
El Corsario, advocating everything and anything. Fantastic performance, and while the 100% finishing rate comes to a close, he finds his first decision victory in his career. This fight replay brought to you by Cat's Law. The misfit, Miguel Gutierrez, gave Medina everything he could, but the pressure, the relentlessness from the Puerto Rican ultimately is what got the job done, and some seriously fun striking, attacking all levels, consistently investing downstairs, and throwing some spinning back fists to boot. I mean, John Medina, what more could you have put in that besides a finish? David Evans, color me thoroughly impressed.
Impressed indeed. Medina just came out, man, and threw everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, we saw some beautiful striking, beautiful combinations with the hands. Then we see the spinning back fist, right hand right down the middle, mixed it up with some beautiful kicks and knees as well, and just wore on Gutierrez the entire time, Viz.
He is as fired up as you can be, and I'll say this, I can't wait for what's next for John Medina. Well, talking about what's next, let's send it inside and keep the action rolling. Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC lightweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first, he's fighting out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Elijah Zenmaster Abels.
Elijah Abels making his way to his APFC debut, riding a 2-fight win streak. His amateur career started winless through his first 2 bouts, but the resiliency has led to an impressive evening out performance, back-to-back TKOs. He promises that Leonel Sabala will be another victim, David.
Back-to-back finishes here from Elijah Abels as he steps into the APFC. I think this is going to be one of the bigger platforms that he's fought on, and I'll look for him to maybe go out there and make a statement against his opponent.
Cornered tonight by Dominic Heath, another APFC prospect, and Darian Patchett, representing Fort Wayne submission fighting, indie boxing, and grappling. Right, this is enemy territory for Elijah Abels, but he doesn't seem fazed whatsoever, being here in the heart of Milwaukee.
Not fazed. We're in the heart of Milwaukee. We're here in the APFC cage. The lights are bright. This is a beautiful stage. The stage is set for this guy to go out there and shine tonight.
Abels is also 1-1 in amateur kickboxing. David, I always love seeing guys who experiment with different disciplines, and when I see kickboxing bouts on people's Tapologies, all it says to me is this kid can strike.
Strike indeed. You know, you spoke to those TKOs. I imagine that's how they came. Some beautiful kickboxing. He's a bit of a rangier kid at 5'11". He probably does a great job keeping the distance and measuring up those strikes, man.
The APFC debut for Elijah Abels.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, he is fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Leonel El Niño de Oro Sabala.
The child of gold, making the walk for his third APFC appearance. He is 1-1 underneath this banner, most recently notching a split decision over Cody Peterson at APFC 14 in November of last year. He kicked off his 2025 campaign with a third-round TKO over Eddie Hansen in April, seeking to find his third consecutive victory. David Evans, I know you are very familiar with the child of gold.
Very familiar with Sabala. I mean, this is a confident kid. He's aggressive. He's a powerhouse. He's good everywhere. I can't wait to see him get in there tonight.
And when you think about what sets him apart, I would say one thing that comes to my mind is his APFC debut was against a monster in Heath Moraov. If you are going to be stepping inside APFC for the first time against a cat like that, that tells me you've got self-belief and confidence like nobody else.
Confidence reigns supreme here for Sabala as he steps into the cage. I mean, you look at the expression on his face, calm, collected, and just goes to just intensity, you know, just, yeah, that's all I can say, man.
David's getting fired up here in the booth. I will say this, right? If you are nicknaming yourself El Niño de Oro, the child of gold, I will say the hair is silver, not entirely gold. Unless that's a lighting issue.
Hey, if you want to take that up with Sabala, Ben, you can. I'm not going to be there for you when it happens.
Well, he's not coming for the silver medal tonight. El Niño de Oro wants the gold first place victory here against Elijah Abels. Here's our tale of the tape. Leonel Sabala and Elijah Abels in the lightweight division. Sabala 3-1 overall. Fort Wayne, Indiana's Abels 2-2. 1 year separates them, but 4 inches in height goes to Fort Wayne's Elijah Abels. This tale of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner. Let's send it inside to Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC lightweight division, sponsored by Pettis Martial Arts. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 11 inches tall. He officially weighed in at 156.2 pounds. He steps into the cage tonight with a record of 2 victories with 2 losses. He is fighting out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Elijah Zenmaster Abels. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 154.8 pounds. He steps into the APFC cage tonight with a record of 3 victories with 1 defeat. He is fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Leonel El Niño de Oro Sabala. And your referee in charge is Tom DeVellis.
Tom DeVellis, third man inside for this amateur lightweight clash between Leo Sabala and Elijah Abels. Sabala in the green, white, and red trunks. Abels in the APFC gray and black. Round 1 underway. David, I feel like within APFC, we've seen Sabala deal with everything from great strikers to great grapplers. He is as well-rounded as you can be.
Abel seems to be very relaxed, just striking, throwing, not really doing too much damage, but just very fluid in how he's throwing his strikes and pressuring Sabala against the cage here.
Beautiful jab by Abels, keeping El Nino de Oro planted to that cage. The length already presenting a problem for Sabala.
Nice side kick there by Abels, but Sabala switching it up, going for the leg attack, solidifies the takedown with some wrist control here. Now has Abels against the cage on his back here.
Abels works back up effectively. Sabala still entangled around that left leg.
And this is the kind of work Sabala needs to do, you know, having the reach, you know, deficit. He needs to close the distance. He needs to stay in the face of Abels and just grind him away as to not allow him to get comfortable on his feet. We saw when Abels get comfortable on his feet, he's very fluid, he throws combinations, and he can be dangerous.
El Nino de Oro with a head kick on the exit. Abels blocks it effectively. Orthodox on orthodox here. Beautiful 1-2 from Abels.
Abels doing a great job feinting, measuring, jumping in, jumping out, striking, then getting out of the way, not being able to be hit by his opponent.
Head kick almost gives Sabala a haircut. That front kick connected.
That crescent kick there by Abels was beautiful. We saw shades of it, but it turned into more of a side kick early on in this round. Abels is just a very dynamic striker here.
Sabala trying to strike his way into the pocket, connects with a right hand. 60 seconds left in round number 1.
Sabala doing a great job looking to feint and then trip and then maybe fall into a shot here to get his opponent to the mat, where he had a bit of success here early on.
Really love how Abels is just interested in touching and connecting rather than sitting down on all of these strikes, David. Very wise striking from the young man.
Definitely looking to just measure, get his range before he maybe throws and throws with a little bit more power and intent here.
Ooh, good jab from Sabala. Now connecting with a couple straights.
Sabala connects with a couple shots of his own here, staying in the pocket here, but he can't back up too much here. I mean, not having that reach advantage, you definitely don't want to be on the outside of those kicks. Unorthodox strikes as well by Abels.
Bruising on the nose of Elijah Abels, some reddening on the white skin that he's got.
Abels getting this confidence here. We see him dropping the hands. We're seeing the head movement. Trying to draw Sabala in to catch him with a strike.
Sabala giving him his showmanship right back at him. Gamesmanship on both sides. This first round replay brought to you by Pettis Martial Arts. David Evans, it's just the length of Elijah Abels, but Sabala able to mitigate it with that takedown attempt.
Tough round to judge there. We saw some striking here from Abels. However, we also saw Sabala had his success. Beautiful takedown with some cage control. I mean, he also had his success in moments on his feet. Some beautiful boxing work.
Leo Sabala, a known commodity here in APFC. Elijah Abels appearing underneath this banner for the first time, but clearly belongs here in this skill category, David.
He definitely belongs in this category. He belongs in the room, and he belongs in this cage.
Tom DeValis getting a set for round number 2 in the lightweight division between Leonel Sabala and Elijah Abels. A very closely contested first frame, David. We'll see if either of these fighters gradually pulls away.
Sabala jumping in with that lead left hook, landing right on the mark here. Beautiful right hand to follow up.
That might have hurt Abels a little bit. Elijah Abels backing up Sabala, connecting again. El Nino de Oro trying to find the chin.
Sabala did a great job, has Abels stumbling back after that right hand. He's doing a good job closing the distance, keeping his head in as to not get hit as he's throwing strikes. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Sabala here so far.
Nice separation there from Abels. Again, trying with that right hand. Not really feinting much from Elijah Abels, just popping out the strikes as he sees fit.
I think adding some strengths, some feints here would be great for Abels, as you see Sabala is starting to time him and counter him over the top of some of those punches.
2 minutes left in round number 2. Abels again with a 1-2 on the guard of Sabala. El Nino de Oro trying to hunt Abels down, gets countered first troubles. Nice 1-2 from Abels.
Abel's starting to gain some ground here in the striking department. We saw Sabala leading early on. However, what he does is he gets in, he strikes, and he takes one too many steps back. And when Sabala is taking those steps back, we see Abel, he's like, hey, you're right at my range now. He's following up and countering even the counter strikes of Sabala with some showmanship.
Some sneaky head movement from Sabala. Nice right hand connects on the chin. Some good feints that have Abels guessing, David. Oh! Big right that connects.
Nice feints there. Sabala's doing a great job slightly taking his head off center and throwing that looping right hand over the top, and he's catching Abels.
Nice extended combo from Sabala. The conventional, very traditional strikes of Abels are seemingly having less and less success, David.
I think that is a testament to Sabala. His head movement, he's stepping in and just kind of not being an easy target here for Abels.
Flow state unlocked for El Nino de Oro. Again, a jab. Oh! Accidental eye poke here on Leonel Sabala. That looked like it was a bad one.
Clearly not intentional there on Abel's part. However, it just sometimes happens. Had those fingers extended on the exit of those strikes there.
This replay of the eye poke brought to you by Cat's Law. Might have to persecute Abels for that one. I mean, by golly, that's first-degree assault, David Evans.
Definitely not pretty. He has to be conscious of keeping those hands up and those fingers towards the ceiling as he's posting and posturing out there.
Elijah Abels was searching for his keys in Leonel Sabala's eye socket.
Doctor stepping in to take a look at it. I don't see Sabala trying to walk away with this one here. Not at least in that fashion.
Not at all. Not the Leonel Sabala that we know. Action resumes here. 30 seconds left in round number 2. El Nino de Oro connected with the right hand.
Sabala getting right to it. Marching down Abels. Has to be careful. Keeping that head off the center line as he comes in. Good job going to the body by Sabala.
Abels mixing up, applying pressure at the end here around 2. Really hunting Leonel Sabala around the ring.
Beautiful jab there by Abels. Mixing it up with some combinations to follow, going from body to head and then head to body and switching it up here on Sabala. However, Sabala is unfazed.
And such slick defense, right? The maneuvers from Leonel Sabala to get out of the way of these strikes is truly impressive. And I'll say this, Elijah Abels, the one busted open, David.
Definitely, here we have the replay. As you see, that head movement by Sabala allows him a window to close the distance and land his own strikes. That short right hand he throws takes his head slightly off center, doubles up that time because he's seeing so much success. And Abel is definitely wearing this last round on his face. There's that incidental eye poke on behalf there of Abels. However, Sabala got right back to it. Both of these guys got right back to it. I think Abels seemed motivated after that unintentional foul to come in and stake a claim for the round.
I'd like to see more from that in round number 3 from Elijah Abels. Extended 4-punch combos, pushing Sabala directly up against the cage, not really giving him room to set up for any counters.
At this point, he has to do that going into this round. That's how he's going to win the fight. If he's going to win the fight, I think Sabala is in control right now. His beautiful head movement, his combinations, everything has been clean so far for Sabala.
Leonel Sabala playing to the crowd, getting this sold-out Potawatomi audience locked in for round number 3. Beautiful takedown from El Nino de Oro.
Just when we start to commend him on his striking, we almost forgot about the takedown from Sabala, which I thought would be a key to victory for him early on in this fight. However, he took it to Abels on the ground. I mean, on his feet, and now he's switching it up. I mean, it just shows the layers that Sabala has.
Abels building back to his feet. Really good work from him defensively to not accept these positions or give Sabala any other appendages.
Yeah, Abels has been in this fight every second. I think Sabala, even though he is starting to take control, beautiful kick there on the exit. Abels able to get his hands up and defend, but definitely something to think about next time you get in that situation.
Nice leg kick from Abels. Eats a stiff jab from Sabala. El Nino de Oro doubling up on it.
Sabala's confidence just seems to be building here every second.
Abels now forced to retreat. 2 minutes to go, and Sabala deep in on another shot. Switches single, David.
Sabala goes from the double leg to the inside single here. Maybe going to look to sweep or reach across as he just did and get Abel down. Now he's going to be able to take the back here and grind and slide that inside hook there. And now he's in a great position to control here, Ben.
Elijah Abels trying to rebuild here, but one errant maneuver, and El Nino de Oro is going to snake that arm directly underneath his chin.
Well, he has that handcuff there on the left side, which is going to establish control with him. He's looking on the right side to just rain down punches and throw some ground and pound.
Elijah Abels trying to guard himself as effectively as he can, but Leonel Sabala putting some real impact on this third and final round.
Sabala in a great position to ride out the next 60 seconds here. Knowing him, he's going to always look to do damage. He's going to always look for a finish. Now figure 4 on the back here of Abels by Sabala. Not a position you want to be in, Ben.
David, we asked who was going to pull away with this one, and Sabala in the final stretch is just cruising to the judges' scorecards, bloodying up the kickboxer in Elijah Abels.
Figure 4 position on the back of Abels. Has that inside wrist there locked up, throwing punches with the far side on the left hand and just bloodying up Abels. Abels, what he has to do here is he's talking to Sabala. He needs to focus on getting his back to the mat here, or bringing that right knee on the inside of that figure 4 to try to break the figure 4 here at Sabala. With 10 seconds left, it looks like Sabala is going to cruise to a bloody victory.
I would love to know what those two were saying to each other as Leonel Sabala connects with a head kick to close things out. What an affair. 3 rounds at 155 between Elijah Abels in his APFC debut and the known commodity El Nino de Oro, Leonel Sabala. This replay brought to you by Pettis Martial Arts. Sabala testing, gauging distance with the left hand and then committing to that takedown. Beautiful misdirection to collect the hips. Elijah posting with the left. Really smart work from him defensively, eating a big head kick as he returned to his feet, but didn't really seem ever too stunned by the work from Sabala, except in this final minute. What a dominant way to close out round number 3, raining down strikes, locking in that body triangle, and bloodying up Elijah Abels. Leonel Sabala, truly a great performance here in Potawatomi as he plays to the crowd once again. I mean, El Nino de Oro extending the win streak to 3. That lost to Chetag Muraov in the rear view mirror. Elijah Abels, great effort from him, but in all likelihood, tonight belongs to El Nino de Oro. For the official decision, we send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And all 3 judges scored this bout 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Leonel El Nino de Oro Sabala.
El Nino de Oro finding his 3rd victory in a row and the best one yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Leo Sabala. Leo, you've always been a fan favorite here in APFC, and you just put together a dominant performance. Can you walk us through your mindset going into this fight?
I'm going to keep it a buck. I was scared as fuck. He's good as hell. His striking is so crisp. All of that, his movement, everything is so fluid from him. So, yeah, I knew it was going to be a dogfight, but yeah, came out here and performed.
Speaking of keeping it 100, we spoke yesterday. We talked about, your fighting inside the cage, but we also spoke to your motivation outside of the cage, and you spoke to me about how big and important this fight was for you on Father's Day. Can you let the fans and the APFC family on the inside of what's going on there? Take your time.
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone who...
Take your time.
To put money towards Red's cancer. And I love Red so much. Sorry, I don't mean to be crying up here like this, but I love Red so much. He done it all, man. He gave me all my stuff, like the gear I wear. I was 240 when I first started this journey, and he manifested me into this with a year and a half. I've been only doing this for a year and a half, and I'm just so thankful for him.
A year and a half, you definitely have made a statement in such a short time. A dominant performance you walk out of here with today. What's next for Leo Sabala?
Hey, yo, I want that belt, yo. Let's get a belt going, 145. Come on, baby, let's go.
You hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Championship dreams for Leo Sabala.
One more thing. Thank you again, guys, for supporting Red. It means the world to me, man. I can't lose it. Thank you, guys. We out, Milwaukee.
Leonel Sabala, emotional in this dominant victory here in the sold-out Potawatomi Casino. Calls for some gold. I say El Nino de Oro deserves a shot to get some hardware. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. What a performance to extend Leonel Sabala's win streak to 3 against a very game striker in Elijah Abels. David Evans, it was as impressive as it gets for El Nino de Oro.
Impressive for sure, Ben. I mean, that performance, we saw everything. Some great wrestling, great shots, beautiful inside, dirty boxing there by Sabala. I mean, he controlled a dangerous and potent opponent here in Abels who posed a challenge within his striking, his range, his fluidity, but Sabala was not deterred by the challenge and went out and had a very successful evening.
And when you think about what could be next for Leonel Sabala, 3-fight win streak, calling for an amateur featherweight title shot. David, I think he deserves it.
I'd give it to him.
I love it. Well, let's keep the action rolling here in Potawatomi Casino and send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC flyweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first and fighting out of Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico, Diego Rodriguez.
Diego Rodriguez with a blistering start to his APFC career ended Danny Martinez in 1 round at APFC 14. That was November of last year. He aims to start 2025 strong and extend his win streak to 3-0, David.
2-0, undefeated. We saw some exciting finishes for him to date. I mean, this is a guy that has a lot of potential and has gone out there and showed it in a very short time. And I think this fight is going to be a testament to that. Let's see how he improved. Let's see what the next level is here for Rodriguez.
We've sung the praises of Caribbean Top Team for so many events. John Medina getting it done in impressive fashion earlier tonight. Rodriguez cornered tonight by Linda Hurtado, Tony Urbana, and Orlando Sanchez. When we think about the skills that this 23-year-old has, I mean, it is the striking, it's that defensive patented grappling that the Puerto Ricans are known for. I mean, it's a mini John Medina.
A mini John Medina going out there to make his own name right here tonight. I mean, you spoke to the training partners, we spoke to that Caribbean Top Team, and they are pushing out products, high-level products, and we're going to see that here shortly.
The second APFC appearance for the 23-year-old. He is the second amateur flyweight in Wisconsin, aiming to become the first here tonight.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage and fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, James Moreno.
The APFC debut for the 6th ranked amateur flyweight in Wisconsin. It's James Moreno riding the high of a first-round rear naked choke over Mike Selly in August of 2024. He wants to kick off 2025 by ruining Diego Rodriguez's win streak, David.
Ruin the win streak he's looking to do. He's walking out. I mean, he has a ton of energy as he looks to step into the cage. Coached by Brian Bautista, someone I've trained with. I've known what he's bringing to the table from an instruction standpoint. He definitely has all of the tools and variables it'll take to spoil the party tonight for his opponent.
James Moreno cornered tonight by the aforementioned Brian Bautista, Alexander Baracque, and Jordan Berg. 3-1 so far in his amateur career. This Green Bay, Wisconsin resident representing that Killer Bee fight team. Let's take it to a tail of the tape for these two flyweights. The Puerto Rican Diego Rodriguez and Green Bay's James Moreno. Moreno 3-1 so far in his amateur career. The Puerto Rican 2-0. 6-year age differential with Rodriguez being the youngster, but he will have 2 inches in height on the Wisconsin resident. Both came in at the flyweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner. Now, David Evans, the one thing I want to highlight for you, 7-inch reach advantage for James Moreno. That is a hefty extension of the arms.
If utilized correctly, it could prove a problem for Moreno.
I love it. Let's send it inside to Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Flyweight Division, sponsored by the Wisconsin Athletic Club. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 7 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed in at 127 pounds. And he steps into the APFC cage tonight with a record of 2 victories, with no losses. Damas y caballeros, presentando al luchador de Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico, Diego Rodriguez. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 5 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 125 1/2 pounds. And he steps into this cage with a record of 3 victories, with 1 defeat, and fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, James Moreno. And your referee in charge is Tom DeVellis.
Tom DeVellis, third man inside for this flyweight affair between the Puerto Rican Diego Rodriguez and James Moreno.
All right, gentlemen, round 1, we ready? Round 1, we ready. Let's go.
Round 1 underway. Moreno in the black and gray trunks. Diego Rodriguez in the white and black.
Oh.
Shot early there for Rodriguez. Moreno defending nicely, David. Oh.
Rodriguez getting right to that double leg here. He has his head on the outside across the body, doing a great job tying up the legs, figure 4 on the legs, and just chipping away here at his opponent.
Moreno with some nice urgency to get back to the feet, but Diego Rodriguez hoists him back to the canvas. Now trying to get into full mount, David.
Moreno is just relentless here in his wrestling attacks here.
Diego Rodriguez coming a long way from Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico. Certainly not to lose, David.
Rodriguez seems determined to control his opponent here. Just taking his time, cooking him, keeping his head position here on top of Moreno, chipping away whenever he can with that left hand, just annoying here. not letting Moreno breathe.
Moreno trying to double up on that left side. Rodriguez deep in, now a knee to the left leg. And we haven't seen this type of grappling assault yet from any fighters here at APFC 17.
Not yet. I mean, the way that he's approaching his wrestling is just relentless. I mean, at every point, even right now, he's on that inside single, just driving in, looking to bounce Moreno off the cage, switching off into a double leg. I mean, this looks like NCAA level wrestling, if you ask me.
Some college game day action as we approach the final minute of round number 1. Rodriguez mounting the back of Moreno, trying to get a hook in, David.
Rodriguez able to get the hook in on the far side. It's going to flatten Moreno out and just throwing punches here.
Diego Rodriguez going to work with 60 seconds remaining. Like a knife through butter. The Puerto Rican slicing away at James Moreno.
What I liked from Rodriguez, it was a very subtle nuance. As he was throwing punches, he wasn't just throwing recklessly. He was isolating, getting hand control, and opening up windows and paths for those punches to land as he was on the top of Moreno.
30 seconds left. James Moreno trying to survive. The Puerto Rican lacing up for a rear naked choke, potentially. Arm is under the neck. Moreno in a world of pain.
Moreno doing a great job getting his back to the canvas here to take away the threat of the rear naked choke. Rodriguez able to transition now into the guard here, Moreno. Let's see if Moreno is dangerous off his back. Is he looking for an arm bar?
Rodriguez wise to it. Short time on the clock for James Moreno, but certainly a moral victory to survive that position and make it to the second round, David.
Yes, that was a lot of work there by Rodriguez. He controlled 3/4 of the round there. I mean, but if you're Moreno, to be able to fight off your back, I mean, that speaks volumes to his abilities here. And if you're Rodriguez, that's something you're going to think about as you approach the next round. Here, Rodriguez dives in on that inside single, transitions to a double leg, dumps Moreno down, but continues as Moreno tries to build to just pressure, pressure, pressure. Did a great job when he got on the back here, got both boots in, landed some good dominant strikes from the back position. However, Moreno never withered, never gave way, was always looking for a way out, and pretty much found it towards the latter end of that round. Threatened a submission there. I mean, this is a highly competitive fight early.
Moreno does have a submission victory in his arsenal, so we know that he is quite well versed on the ground, but it just seemed like there is a grappling upside that Diego Rodriguez possesses as we head into round number 2.
Round two, go!
Rodriguez definitely seems to have the advantage when it comes to offensive grappling and wrestling here. We saw some trickiness, though, from the bottom of Moreno. I'm excited to see how maybe that progresses if he ends up on his back again.
Rodriguez switching stances, cutting off the cage. Big head kick, partially blocked by Moreno.
Moreno returning with a head kick of his own, barely missing there, Rodriguez. Moreno tends to have a little bit of pep in his step now, moving in, moving out. Rodriguez seems to be a little bit more patient.
You can already see the discoloration on the back of James Moreno. Nice spinning back kick from Rodriguez, barely misses. Moreno's corner seemingly believing that Diego Rodriguez is tired. David, to me, doesn't seem like he's that fatigued.
I'm not sure he's fatigued. I just think he started off at such a pace. I mean, it'd be hard for anyone to carry that pace through 3 rounds of a fight. Right now, he's just looking to pick his spots, as is Moreno right now. As we're starting to see Moreno is fighting his way back into this one. However, Rodriguez going back to what brought him to the show, and that's that power wrestling, nice level change into the double leg, and he has Moreno's back against the cage now.
Minute and a half left in round number 2, and it sort of felt like an inevitability that Diego Rodriguez was going to find a grappling opening here, and He does.
Indeed, it was only a matter of time, but now we get to see if Moreno can work off of his back. As I alluded to earlier, we saw in the latter part of that last round, Moreno was able to switch his hips, went for the arm bar. He didn't get the arm bar, however, he looked like he was going to transition to some other things and then worked back up to his feet. So let's see what kind of work can Moreno do off of his back here, and if Rodriguez is going to look for perhaps a finish here on top.
60 seconds to go in round number 2. Moreno trying to post off the cage to create some space. Nothing going. His corner is begging him to try and post and build back up. Rodriguez now smoothly gliding to the back here, David Evans.
Backpack position right now. Rodriguez just hanging on the back of Moreno, making him carry his weight. Moreno looking for a way out, fighting hands here. Rodriguez seems to be content to just hold on right now. Doesn't seem to be in a rush to get Moreno back to the canvas.
Ooh, lacing up with that left arm. Rodriguez, 10 seconds to work. This could be tight. James Moreno in a world of trouble here. Can he survive?
10 seconds left.
Wow.
Rodriguez threatening the throat right there on the left-hand side. Moreno able to power and push through it. It almost looked like this fight wasn't going to go into the third round here, Ben.
If Diego Rodriguez had applied that submission 20, 30 seconds out from the end of the round, I think we'd be looking at a stoppage. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Head kick from Diego Rodriguez, which Moreno tried to answer back, but this was another round where nothing Moreno was doing was really working.
No, Rodriguez was just relentless in his approach to the wrestling. We saw him throw the feint, throw the high head kick, got the takedown, and when he got that takedown, he was content just riding and grinding Moreno out, looking for the threat of the choke and ending the fight here towards the last 10 seconds or so. Didn't really have enough time and went right back to the ground and pound and just pretty much controlled Moreno the entire time they were on the ground.
If you're in James Moreno's corner, you're down 2 rounds, you're at a significant grappling disparity, what would the advice be coming into these final 3 minutes?
You know, maybe unpopular opinion, but I would say, hey, let's put Rodriguez on his back foot. Let's pressure forward. Let's get off on our own shots. A lot of times when you have wrestlers that are high-caliber grapplers like that, they're not used to having to wrestle defensively or wrestle off of their back. So, like, let's put the pressure on our opponent. Let's see if we can get him on his back and see if he can work.
Rodriguez, again, switching stances, commanding the center. Now Moreno coming forward. Big head kick lands.
Moreno doing a great job coming in. Big head kick, followed that up.
A cheeky little shoulder strike as well from Moreno.
Trap the leg. Sneaky, I mean, those things are annoying, and they open up positions for you to get to leg attacks. It feels like Moreno almost was listening to what I'm saying, and now we're having to see if Rodriguez can deal with the wrestling, but being on the wrong end of it.
Rodriguez with a lazy left hand, doesn't connect. 215, Superman into the takedown. Quite crafty from Rodriguez.
Rodriguez in on the double leg. Looking for maybe an inside trip to try to knock off the balance of Moreno. Moreno doing a great job splitting his stance, which is going to prevent Rodriguez from picking him up and dumping him. However, he goes for that sneaky inside trip. Beautiful transition.
Now Moreno trying to tie up that right arm, or excuse me, Rodriguez trying to tie up that right arm of Moreno. James Moreno does get back to the feet. Signs of life there for him as we head to the final 90-second stretch.
Indeed, Rodriguez back here in the grappling with Moreno against the cage. He's been very comfortable here, you know, just utilizing that grip strength, good position, head position on Moreno, transitioning to the legs as we just saw, going for the double leg.
Minute 10 left on the clock. Moreno trying to go for that Kimura, but Rodriguez straightening the arm out.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Let's go.
Moreno's corner telling him 2 minutes. Unfortunately, there's only 60 seconds left on the clock, David.
60 seconds left on the clock.
It's a lot different than 2 minutes.
Rodriguez dominant on top as he always been. Looking to go full mount here. Moreno doing a great job of not allowing it, but Rodriguez transitioned directly to the back. Now, last time he was here, we almost saw a finish. This time he's attacking right side. Moreno seems to be controlling the hands here.
Rodriguez not wanting to win on the scorecards, but wanting to impress inside the distance. 30 seconds with which to work. That right arm is inching closer and closer to the neck of James Moreno, David.
Rodriguez just looking for his moment to snatch the neck here. Beating up Moreno. There we go. Right after the ground and pound. Got his mind thinking somewhere else. It's tight. It might be under there, Ben.
Like an anaconda. Can Diego Rodriguez strike at the bell? James Moreno survives. What a display of resiliency from James Moreno, the Green Bay, Wisconsin native, not accepting these fight-ending sequences, but tonight will belong to the unbeaten talent, Diego Rodriguez, who heads to the scorecards for the first time in his young career. This fight replay brought to you by Pettis Martial Arts. David Evans, it was just clear grappling upside for one young Diego Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez was relentless with his wrestling. I mean, we saw some striking from him, but I mean, the wrestling was what won the battle for him ultimately. Beautiful double legs, nice leg trips. When he got to the ground, he didn't just rest, he wasn't content. He was always looking for the finish, always looking to transition, always looking to take the back. We saw some beautiful ground and pound as well. I think his wrestling, his grappling was just a little bit too much for Moreno here tonight.
And in those sorts of transition sequences where Moreno would build back up and we'd find a separation, I love how Diego Rodriguez would throw strikes on that break, always looking for significance.
Indeed, and that just shows the high caliber and the high training that he has and that he's used to.
Puerto Rico steamrolling here in Milwaukee for the official decision. We send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And all 3 judges scored this bout 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision. Bringing it back to Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico, Diego Rodriguez.
Diego Rodriguez's first 2 victories came by way of TKO. Tonight, he finds himself getting his hand raised on the scorecards. San Germain, Puerto Rico, 23 years young. This kid, like all of these Caribbean top team products, is a problem, David.
A problem for sure. I mean, just great wrestling was the path to victory for him. Both of these guys were highly competitive. Moreno was not a slouch. However, Rodriguez, his double legs, his level changes, and how he mixed everything up, the striking and the grappling and the ground and pound, was just a little bit too much for Moreno. Rodriguez was constantly looking for the finish, threatening the chokes every chance he got. He was patiently relentless there, and I love that killer calculated pace that he set. Moreno, however, was always in this. He had a few moments when he put Rodriguez on his back foot. We saw some striking. However, Rodriguez went back to what got him to the show today, the wrestling, got in some dominant positions here, man.
Puerto Rico still on top. Well, let's keep it in the flyweight division and send it back inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC flyweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first and fighting out of Lafayette, Indiana, Danny Dirty Dan Martinez.
Danny Dirty Dan Martinez for his 3rd APFC start here tonight in Potawatomi, coming off of a unanimous decision defeat to Anthony Jackson at APFC 16 in March of this year. David Evans, he wants to right that wrong here tonight, here right now.
Right now he does, and as he walks out, he looks very amped up and ready to go. I don't see him wanting to get in there and just fill things out. I mean, look at the pace he's walking to the cage. Look at the energy in which he's giving his teammates right now. Look for him to go out there and try to get an explosive victory.
Martinez certainly fired up, corner tonight by Taylor Draper, Andrew Ferguson, and Derek Chumley training out of that Combat Garage. He is riding a bit of a skid right now, back-to-back defeats, one of those being a split decision to Yoel Aguilar at Three River Throwdown in September of last year. He has not gotten the hand raised since April of 2024. I know it would mean the world to him here tonight in Potawatomi. The third APFC appearance of Dirty Dan, Danny Martinez, wanting a clean performance on APFC 17.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, and he is fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Abimael Martinez.
Abimael Martinez, the former Three River Throwdown flyweight champion, also making his third APFC appearance, coming in tonight ranked the 11th amateur flyweight in Wisconsin, boasting 2 TKO finishes in his career. He has never been to the scorecards, David.
No, I mean, this is a kid. He just bites down on his mouthpiece, puts his head down, and looks to go out there and bang. I think this is going to make a great fight for both of these guys stylistically, but not only that, just the mentalities that both of these guys bring into fights.
Corner tonight by Jordan Berg, Brian Bautista, and Alexander Barakwe out of that Killer B fight team. 9 amateur fights for Abimael Martinez, one of the more experienced amateurs we have, David.
That experience, man, it's great, especially at this level as an amateur. Any experience is better than no experience at all. Wins and losses, you learn from it all.
Let's take it to a tail of the tape for this flyweight clash between Danny Martinez and Abimael Martinez. Green Bay, Wisconsin's Abimael 4-5 overall. Martinez 3-4. 4-year age differential, with Green Bay, Wisconsin's Martinez being the elder, but he will give up 2 inches in height to Lafayette, Indiana's Martinez. Both came in at the APFC flyweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Flyweight Division. Sponsored by Carbliss, handcrafted cocktails. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 6 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 126.2 pounds. And he steps into the cage with a record of 3 victories with 4 defeats. And he is fighting out of Lafayette, Indiana, Danny Dirty Dan Martinez. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 4 inches tall. He officially weighed in at 126.2 pounds, and he comes in tonight with a record of 4 victories with 5 defeats, and fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Abimael Martinez. And your referee in charge is Chris Claviter.
Chris Claviter, third man inside for this 125-pound fight. Danny Martinez in the black and white trunks and the blue gloves. Abimael Martinez in the white and black trunks with the red gloves. Round number 1 underway.
As I said early, Martinez is not going to waste his time. Excuse me, Dirty Dan Martinez is not going to waste his time getting after it. Abimael doing a great job making adjustments, looking to clinch up his opponent and slow him down.
Dirty Dan landed a big right hand moments ago. Frenetic grappling exchange. Submission attempt from Dirty Dan potentially, David.
Dirty Dan looking for the Darce. He has the lock. It looks like, however, his opponent did a great job breaking it, just staying content on that double leg here. Abimael, he just needs to do what he's doing now. Slow his opponent down. You fight at a frenetic pace. Anything can happen here.
Knees on the inside and a right hand on the break. Dirty Dan connecting with a rear uppercut that backs up Abimael. Nice shot from Abimael.
Dirty Dan fights dirty, man. I mean, just throwing combinations from shooting from the hip. Abimael a little bit more deliberate in his approach, setting up his shots, keeping his head in. Defense looks good. However, a head kick slides through there for Dirty Dan.
Big looping shots from Dirty Dan, which historically, right, sometimes maybe easier to get out of the way of her counter, but it's such unorthodox and awkward angles that Dirty Dan's throwing from. Abimael rendered a bit out of depth here defensively.
I believe Martinez at this point is just kind of overwhelming the synapses of Abimael. You know, he's throwing a lot at him, and I think Abimael just wants to slow it down.
Dirty Dan, guillotine submission. 60 seconds on the clock. A lot of time for Dirty Dan to crank away.
Abimael just kind of fell into that guillotine attempt, shot in with his head down, and that happens. However, he's able to work out. Now he's on top in a much better position to control his unorthodox opponent.
And some good time on the clock for Abimael to elicit some ground and pound, score some points on what has been a pretty competitive round so far.
Abimael, he needs to do a better job of his head position here when he's on top working in the guard of Dirty Dan Martinez. He needs to keep his head in the center of his chest, keep his hands off of the mat. We saw we saw Dirty Dan go for that guillotine choke, and it looked like it was in, and it looked like it was in tight. So let's not keep our head to where, you know, maybe he reaches up and gets it with very little effort.
Final 10 seconds here in round number one. Abimael on top, but not much significant ground and pound or posturing up.
Yeah, I mean, Abimael got into a great position, but it looked like he was just he was okay just kind of laying and praying, so to speak. He didn't do much damage. We didn't see hand control. We didn't see him advancing to try to pass the guard here.
This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Dirty Dan Martinez just swinging, forcing his way into the pocket. Abimael dealing with all of this as best he could, David.
Shades of Dan Henderson there from Dirty Dan Martinez. He threw up that high kick, looked for the big right hand on the opposite side, just marching forward, just looking to finish his opponent. Abimael was able to shoot, you know, able to get the takedown. Once he solidified the position, didn't do much there. So if I'm in his corner, I'm saying, hey, maybe we won the round with control time. I don't know. It's kind of hard to judge. But when we get in those positions, we have to make them count.
Can't be complacent. Control time, stalling, walling, no longer should get you that win. Dirty Dan Martinez smiling ahead of round number two, taking a deep breath. On the feet, he clearly has the striking upside, David.
Ready. Round two, fight!
I'm not sure. I mean, he definitely has more output. I don't believe he's a necessarily better striker. His striking could be cleaned up a little bit. I mean, I like his approach, don't get me wrong. I just don't think Abimael is able to get off at any point. And that strategy works for Dirty Dan Martinez.
Abimael forced to shoot a takedown. Dirty Dan Martinez reversing the position nicely early in round number two.
Looking at this fight, I believe Abimael is just mentally overwhelmed. He's getting in positions to where he just kind of freezes, and that's when Dirty Dan Martinez keeps going.
Nice return to the mat from Abimael, but I agree with you. The pace and the pressure that Dirty Dan has been trying to set is difficult to acclimate to.
For sure. Now, I'm not sure that Dirty Dan is technically a better fighter. I just think that mindset, that pace, that pressure that you speak of is just overwhelming for Martinez. And so when he gets in these positions, and it shows, he just wants to hang on. I think he's trying to slow the fight down so he can start thinking through these positions. But when you're in a fight, you can't think, you just have to do.
Especially as an amateur with the 3-minute rounds, this dissolves quite quickly. And if you don't do anything significant or impressive to alert the judges, hey, you know, this should be my round. One move from Dirty Dan can steal it on the cards as he tries to reverse with a Kimura.
Speaking of one move, beautiful transition for the Kimura. Look for him to step over the arm, I was going to say, but he was looking more for full guard. You know, he's definitely the type of guy, he's going to go for it all, even position-wise on the ground here.
There is a penchant for violence from Dirty Dan Martinez. Lafayette's own, punching his way through as we hit the 60-second stretch of round number 2.
Dirty Dan in a much better position now on the ground with Mael on his back. However, Mael working up, and we saw him throw in the Darce early on in the first round. So look for Martinez to go for that neck at any moment.
45 left on the clock. Round could still be up for grabs. Mael throwing the right hand, going for the takedown, eats a knee for his troubles. Now Mael Martinez busted open and bloody as Dirty Dan goes for the head kick.
Dirty Dan, man, I like his style, man. This dude he's like a street fighter, bro. He does not care. He throws punches in bunches, looping punches, looping kicks.
And I love that little inside kick that he does to close distance and set up some of these strikes with his hands, using his legs intelligently. Final 10, Mael, leg kick, stiff jab. Now a right hand on Dirty Dan Martinez. Third and final round up next between these two talented flyweights. In my estimation, Mael Martinez will need a stoppage. This replay brought to you by Pettis Martial Arts. Again, just good work from Dirty Dan, attacking all levels.
I agree. Dirty Dan did a great job throwing that leg kick, which opened up some more strikes up top. However, Mael has been defaulting essentially whenever he's overwhelmed to the shots. I mean, that wasn't the most technically proficient takedown, but he got the leg, he snatched it up and got to the ground. However, Dirty Martinez flipped the script here on Mael with that beautiful Kimura transition, almost established a full guard. When they got back to their feet, it was much more of the same. We see a few more strikes there from Mael, but however, Dirty Dan Martinez tends to control the fight on his feet. He's overwhelming his opponent. Mael Martinez is more so reacting than being proactive in this fight.
There were shades of success in the striking for Mael in the closing moments of round 2. Am I crazy for thinking that a good suggestion would be fighting fire with fire?
You're not crazy at all, and that was more so what I was speaking to. He's getting overwhelmed, and he wants to slow it down and saying, hey, let's have a technical fight. Dirty Dan Martinez wants to fight, and he wants to fight dirty, and that's the only way he's going to do it. So Mael Martinez needs to just open up and embrace the chaos that is happening right now.
Already early exchanges from both guys. Looping overhand right from Martinez, can't find a home. Dirty Dan applying that patented pressure.
Dirty Dan Martinez marching forward, throwing punches, throwing strikes, keeping his head down.
Mael on the bike now. Dirty Dan cutting off the cage. Beautiful shots from Dirty Dan. Mael just seems a bit outgunned here as he goes for another desperation takedown.
What I'm seeing right now is there's a gift and a curse when you're an intelligent fighter. Sometimes when you get in positions as an intelligent fighter, what you want to do is problem solve and troubleshoot. But you don't have the time to do that. We can't sit here and analyze. We need action if you're with Martinez. He's in a good position now on top. However, he cannot analyze. He cannot try to think and see what his next move is. He needs to create action. He needs to move. He needs to punch. He needs to do whatever he needs to do in the moment.
Don't grab that cage. Get your finger out of the cage.
Dirty Dan Martinez maybe leveraging the cage a little bit to lock up those toes tighter as we find the final 90 seconds of round 3.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying there, man. If the ref doesn't see it, did it really happen?
And the reality is, Mael Martinez needs a stoppage, but currently he might be locked up in a bit of a tricky spot here against Dirty Dan as he pops out, finds himself in side control.
Referee Chris Cavita was able to spot the toes in the fences, gave Martinez a little pop there to get him out. And now Mael Martinez working from side guard here.
But the reality is control time is only going to lead to a decision loss. Abimael needs to go. If there's ever a time to empty the tank and punch it, it's right now for Abimael.
You know, the judging is much like life right now. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. Right now, he has the control time, but he's not doing anything with it. So I look at a Martinez on his back who's working and, you know, throwing strikes from everywhere, and I could give him the round simply because of that.
That's a very grand quote from you, David Evans.
You know, I try to be a little philosophical when I can, Ben.
Much like life,
wisdom.
it's all about your reactions. Abimael bringing Dirty Dan up to the feet. 10 seconds to go. Can Abimael try and put some exclamation point on this one? No threat here to close out this third and final round in all likelihood. Lafayette, Indiana's Danny Martinez has evened out his amateur MMA record. Pretty fun grappling display by both guys, though. Excellent ebbs and flows in that one. Each guy had moments. Just feels like Dirty Dan was a bit more, I don't want to say more polished, but more effective in all areas.
More effective, definitely had more output. It was definitely interesting to see the contrasting in styles and personalities in this fight. I think Dirty Dan is great. I don't know if he necessarily outclassed Abimael Martinez. I don't know if he's technically the better fighter. But he did fight better tonight because he did just that. He went out there, took the fight to him, was throwing punches, throwing strikes, and every moment when he was on his back, he was always looking for a way out. Activity was the key word for Dan Martinez, and I think that's going to give him the victory.
And he's got a great chest piece as well. I mean, we have to acknowledge the ink that Dirty Dan has got. It's clean.
Reminiscent of a Conor McGregor tattoo. I think he just switched the animals there. I think McGregor has a gorilla. He tends to have a bear coming out of the bushes there.
Dirty Dan Martinez raising his arm, seemingly victorious. Well, let's find out the official decision by sending it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And the judges scored the fight 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27, all for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Danny Dirty Dan Martinez.
Dirty Dan Martinez evens out the record, now 4-4 as an amateur mixed martial artist. Finds his 2nd victory in a row, 2nd win in 2025. This calendar year has been good for Dirty Dan. This fight recap brought to you by Cat's Law, David Evans. It was just this eagerness to engage, right? This dogfight mentality from Dirty Dan that, in my estimation, overwhelmed Abimael Martinez.
Overwhelmed indeed. Dirty Dan just came out of the fences just racing at full throttle here tonight. Man, we saw him throw everything but the kitchen sink. Beautiful punches, beautiful kicks. Abimael, he had his moments. We saw some takedowns. When he had his time to control, he did just that, control. However, it wasn't enough because Dirty Dan Martinez made adjustments. He was always looking for the easiest path to victory, and that was violence for him. I mean, I'm truly impressed by the amount of output here.
Great ending from Abimael Martinez. Strong 3rd round, but that belongs to Dirty Dan. Let's keep the action rolling here at APFC 17 and take it to the heavyweight division. Let's send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC heavyweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first and fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, Pierre King P. Brown.
King P, Pierre Brown, got a late start to his mixed martial arts career at 33 years young. And while the debut didn't go his way in January, he is back for more here in his APFC debut, David.
Shades of Mike Tyson coming out in the all-black shirt, no logos, no team. I spoke with Pierre Brown yesterday, and he told me, and I thought this was a very unique approach. I asked him, I was like, hey, who are you training with? How's training camp going? How's training camp going? And he told me, he's like, hey, I'm training by myself. I'm not training with any training partners. I don't have any coaches. I wanna get in there, get the feel, test it out, and just kind of work. And if I want to take it seriously or take it to that next level, I'll go to a gym and I'll learn it, learn the practice.
A deeply interesting approach for Pierre King P. Brown, a lone samurai trying to find his first amateur victory here in his APFC debut. We'll see if the grass is greener for Pierre Brown.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage, he's fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Killer Cody Creger.
Killer Cody Creger, 26 years young, had a tough debut at the APFC Rumble in August of 2024, but the Rufus Sport product is so confident that tonight is the night where his amateur career gets right on track, David.
Killer Cody Creger, I like the name. I mean, this guy, he seems to be a very fun guy. I follow him on social media. I've been following the build up to this fight. He's in the right place, training up at Rufus Sport. We see some Pettis martial arts logos in his corner as well, too. We see Ronaldo Pettis, the brother of the namesake Anthony Pettis here in APFC. I mean, this kid, he definitely has all of the tools and resources to be a good fighter.
Former Bellator champion Sergio Pettis also in the corner of Cody Creger. Just feels like the time is now, and there is a cosmic alignment for the killer in his second APFC appearance. We shall see if tonight he is victorious. Let's take it to a tail of the tape for this heavyweight showdown between Pierre Brown from Chicago, Illinois, and Cody Creger from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Both fighters 0-1, 7-year age differential, with Creger being the youngster, and he will have 1 inch in height on King P. Both came in at the APFC heavyweight limit. This tail of the tape brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Heavyweight Division, sponsored by Diamante Eyewear, disruptors of luxury eyewear. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a kickboxer. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and officially weighed in at 235.9 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 1 defeat and fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, Pierre King P. Brown. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 11 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 254.7 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 1 defeat and fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Killer Cody Creger. And your referee in charge is Chris Cloveter.
Chris Cloveter, third man inside for our first heavyweight bout of the evening. The Rufus Sport product. Cody Killer Creger trying to start the career strong, but he must usurp the King P. Pierre Brown. Round 1 underway, David Evans.
Both of these guys to the center immediately. Nice check left hook by Creger, followed by a right hand straight down the middle.
Creger knocked down. King P trying to swarm.
Creger punched King P so hard he knocked himself down. That was incredible. Now King P just pressuring forward and just jumping on Creger right now. That was I don't even have
interesting
the words,
sequence. Seismic power here in the Potawatomi Casino. You would think that trying to fight by yourself against an individual corner by Ray Pettis and Sergio Pettis would be a bad idea, but maybe Pierre Brown knows something we don't, David.
He might be on to something. I mean, he's definitely no stranger to a fight, that's for sure.
And especially in the heavyweight division, it only takes one as Pierre Brown tries to swarm. Mouth guard is out for Creger.
And he spoke to the corner here of Creger as King P throws just a barrage of punches, but he spoke to the corner, Ronaldo Pettis. Sergio Pettis, who I didn't see initially, I mean, that's a testament to the kind of guy he is with a big fight looming here in the next couple of weeks to come out, show support, and corner another teammate.
Creger trying to circle off. King P hunting him down. These guys are winging shots, David Evans.
I like the style of both of these guys. They're not afraid to shy away from a fight.
And when you talk about this southpaw and orthodox matchup, it is just whose cannon is bigger.
Which seems to be the statement for heavyweights in general. So when you have that and you have heavyweights, I mean, there's bound to be an explosion at any moment. Beautiful teeth there by Creger.
And now King P sort of bending over, does not like the attention to the midsection. Huge head kick for Creger.
Styling and profiling by Creger, throwing the head feint, going body head with the kick. Teepin taking the win here out of Pierre Brown.
And King P does not seem to enjoy this continued violence from Creger, unable to now rush into the pocket.
As he rushes into the pocket of Creger, I mean, he's throwing the rule book right out the window here with a nice knee to the body of his own by Pierre Brown.
Final 30 seconds here in round number one. Shockingly, we've arrived. Big right hand, and down goes Brown! Creger sleeps into the first. The killer lives up to the nickname.
Sneaky right hand by Colby Creger. Threw it effortlessly. Put his opponent out, Ben. That was incredible.
If you step into the fire, you might get burned. And King P just got smoked by Colby Creger. Devastating power at heavyweight. Had a tough debut in August, but now in 2025, Colby Creger putting it all together. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law Group. Pierre Brown waywardly wanders into a right hand. What a hellacious connection that disconnects him from reality. Like a light switch, King P turned off. Creger victorious here in Potawatomi Casino, and adds some flash and some gamesmanship to boot. Certainly not a perfect fight, had some ebbs and flows, took some damage, but Colby Creger finds his first win as an amateur mixed martial artist, and he does it in his hometown. Fantastic performance from that young heavyweight. Let's make that first round stoppage official by sending it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee Chris Cleveter put a stop to the fight. The official time coming at 2 minutes and 28 seconds of round number one. Declaring your winner by knockout, killer, Colby Creger.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, killer Colby Creger. Colby, I mean, there's really not much to say, man. Can you walk us through that fight? You had a tough opponent who didn't shy away from a battle. You put him out. What were you expecting from your opponent here tonight?
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting him to come out. My corner told me, you know, land that right hand when it's there, and boom. That's what happened. That's all she wrote. I just want to say Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. This is for us. This is for us. And happy birthday to my brother Anthony. Let's go.
Now, watching that fight, we knew you had some power, but I noticed a little bit of the nuances, the finesse, the head feints, the hip feints. I mean, shades of Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis. Is that the Rufus Sport, you know, tutelage there?
You damn right. You damn right. If it wasn't for this, man, I wouldn't be out here swagging like that. So that's what that is.
A young heavyweight, up-and-coming heavyweight in the game, Kobe. What's next for you?
Hey, man, one more fight, and I heard I'm getting the title shot, so let's go. Run that shit up. Who's next? I'll knock anyone out in this motherfucker once I'm in here.
You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. Killer Kobe Creger.
Kobe Creger with a shout out to all the fathers on Father's Day. Finds his first victory as an amateur mixed martial artist. 26 years young, and that is some devastating knockout power that Creger possesses. Came in tonight as the 7th ranked amateur heavyweight. I'm sure he's going to be bumped up the rankings. Had some adversity early, but no issues at all when it counted, David Evans. Kobe Creger silenced King P.
When it counted, Killer Kobe Creed went all the way and shut the lights out on Pierre Brown. I mean, he was styling, profiling, he was loose, he was fluid, and then he knew it. You know, just the confidence here by Killer is just is unimaginable.
And Pierre Brown's eagerness to engage is what led to his downfall. He ran smack into that right hand from Killer Creger. And I gotta say, I love the gamesmanship, the confidence at the end of that knockout.
Yeah, Killer just had the confidence. Pierre came in on the straight line and went out the same way.
Well, let's keep the action rolling and take it down to the flyweights and send it back in to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. One moment. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We will be taking a brief 10-minute intermission.
That is not on handsome Michael Hansen. That must have been some sort of a disconnect, right? Communication is hard, challenging at times even, David Evans. But what a fantastic start to APFC 17 we've had. Many finishes, many fun fights. I mean, David, I say it every time, but there's been something for everybody.
It happens, and that's show business for you, Ben. We're going off on an intermission, but we're leaving off on a good note. And if that is a testament to what the rest of these fights will be, we're in for it tonight, Ben.
3 fights left on the prelims before our UFC Fight Pass main card. All the action headlined by Emmanuel Sanchez and Zach Zane for the vacant welterweight title. We'll be right back here at the Potawatomi Casino.
You're listening to the baddest DJ in the game. DJ
mess up the whole program and beat nasty young can. All right. Beat it like a money. Killer don't run from this fight. Let me see. Shake some. You're put my chains on. Gotta go on crazy, let it shake, watch the moves, or you gotta run it up and not the one who make the rules. Left, right. Let me see you do it. Left, do it, right, do it. Do it, right, do it. Do it, right, do it, left, do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go with our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC flyweight division. And now, making the walk to the cage first and fighting out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Dominic Heath.
This is gonna be a fun one at 125. Pro debuts on both sides. Dominic Heath, 23 years young, fighting out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, cornered tonight by Elijah Abels and Isaiah Watkins. He is really intent on a decisive victory. Had a split decision in his final amateur fight, which was his APFC debut in October of last year, and said that, hey, for my first pro fight, I'm gonna shut it down in Potawatomi.
Shut it down for sure. No better place than the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino here, APFC. The stage is set, the lights are bright. He's coming out with some Tupac. I love it already. It ain't nothing but a gangster party, man.
5 finishes in his amateur career, all of them first round stoppages, 4 of them submissions. So we know what the 16th ranked amateur flyweight in North America brings into the cage. It is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, David.
A known BJJ practitioner. Look for him to get in there, close the distance, get his hands on his opponent, get him to the ground and start setting traps, looking for finishes the whole way through.
And in an era where the flyweight division is in such need of exciting prospects, someone like Dominic Heath could really pave such a way for himself to the UFC with a definitive performance here tonight.
The door's wide open for the next standout prospect to kind of peek their head through and stay claim, and what better way to do it here than a dominant performance.
2 title fight victories throughout his 10-fight amateur career. This will be his 2nd APFC appearance. The 23-year-old youngster, Dominic Heath, wanting to light it up here in Milwaukee.
And now, making the walk to the APFC cage and fighting out of Round Lake Beach, Illinois, Joe Aoyo.
Joe Aoyo is wasting no time in his mixed martial arts career. Less than 12 months after making his amateur debut, the Wisconsin Parkside graduate is taking his talents to the pro ranks, boasting a 100% finishing rate, shutting down Christian Haight in his APFC debut. He shows he's not here to play around, David.
No, we've seen this guy before. Explosive, great striker, great wrestler. Seems to be very well-rounded. You look at him, physically imposing as well. I think this is going to make for a great matchup.
Representing that seasoned Avila Combat Laboratories gym, cornered tonight by Diego Avila and Nick Fisher. Joseph Arroyo making his 2nd APFC appearance, back-to-back wins And it's all experience on one side, but eagerness for violence on the other here, David.
Eagerness for violence, and he has the capability and all the tools to enact some violence tonight. Very athletically imposing guy, very explosive. Definitely when you look at him, he's not someone you want to pick a fight with.
Let's take it to a tail of the tape for this flyweight bout between Fort Wayne, Indiana's Dominic Heath and Round Lake Beach, Illinois' Joseph Arroyo. Pro debuts on both sides. 3 years separate them, Arroyo being the elder, but he will give up 3 inches in height to Dominic Heath. Both came in at the pro flyweight limit. Fort Wayne, Indiana's Heath currently lined as a slight underdog, with Joseph Arroyo the slight betting favorite. These odds brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Flyweight Division, sponsored by Combat Corner and F Street. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and officially weighed in at 125.2 pounds. And he steps into the APFC cage tonight to make his professional debut. He is fighting out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Dominic Heath. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 125.2 pounds. He also steps into the cage tonight, making his professional debut and fighting out of Round Lake Beach, Illinois, Joe Arroyo. And your referee in charge is Tom DeVellis.
Tom DeVellis, third man inside for this flyweight bout between Dom Heath and Joe Arroyo. Pro debuts on both sides. Heath in the black and red trunks. Joe Arroyo also in the black and red.
Arroyo stalking the center of the cage here. Heath on the outside, just measuring, switching stances, giving Arroyo different looks here. Arroyo switching level changes, feinting.
Beautiful kick from Heath there. Love this quick movement, right? These fast reactions from Dom Heath.
Hey, do that too. Shake it off, do it more.
Heath doing a great job moving laterally, throwing the feints as you see, moving the hands, hand feints, feinting with the feet, hip feints.
Sticking and moving is Dom Heath. 3 5-minute rounds here for these 2 pro flyweights. Again, Joe Arroyo, only 3 amateur bouts. His AMI debut was July of last year, whereas his opponent, Dom Heath, boasts 10 amateur outings, extending all the way back to October 2020.
Nice right hand, overhand right by Arroyo. Looking to put the lights out on Heath already early. Definitely something that Heath has to be weary of and be aware of going into this fight. Nice rear hand by Heath as well.
And sticking with the jab on the exit. Despite this inexperience disparity on paper, Joe Arroyo looking like he belongs in there.
He definitely belongs in the cage. He's a very athletic kid. He has a nice pedigree and background, I believe, wrestling, and it's carrying him so far.
Heath on the outside. It's a big right hand from Arroyo.
And he's not afraid to throw that big right hand, following it up with the body kick, then the lead left hook. Definitely not afraid to stand is Arroyo.
And with this orthodox southpaw matchup here, right, Arroyo can just let that right hand go and be confident that it'll land somewhere on Dom Heath's body.
That right hand and the rear right body kick as well. Just the way everything lines up with these opposing stances.
Midway point of round number 1, Arroyo seemingly winning more of these exchanges. Dom Heath touching downstairs with a leg. Heavy hands from Arroyo. Arroyo's corner telling him just to touch him, not commit on every single punch like he has been.
I definitely think his corner knows what he's capable of. They just kind of want to restrain him a little bit, let him find his mark before he wastes a lot of energy putting energy into punches that maybe, you know, won't fruition.
Dom Heath with an interesting level change look right there moments ago. 2 minutes left in round number 1.
Heath doing a great job darting laterally on his way in with that left straight. Using angles, giving Arroyo something to look at even when he's not necessarily doing damage.
Arroyo going to the well many times on that touch with the left, overhand with the right. If you're Dom Heath, is that something you're starting to try and read? Oh!
Definitely starting to read it for sure, and he lands a right hand of his own and switches stances back to southpaw. Heath able to throw from both sides here.
Heath trying to go high with that head kick, nothing going. Joe Arroyo, big knockdown for Arroyo.
Big right hand left hook by Arroyo. Stepped in, put his head down.
Dom Heath, jiu-jitsu ace, going for the leg entanglement, David.
You have to be careful with an athlete like Arroyo when you're attacking the legs. It leaves yourself vulnerable from punches on the ground, which for a second he was. Arroyo did a great job adjusting and defending. Now he's in a better position, taking the back here of Arroyo, and I think that's exactly where he wants to be.
40 seconds left for Joe Arroyo to work. Most significant moment of this round was that heavy knockdown. Dom Heath seems to have recovered, has his wits about him on the floor there. Arroyo, though, wasting no moments, trying to remain in perpetual motion. Big elbow from Arroyo.
Arroyo doing a great job in side control here, has his hips in. Great sweep there by Heath. Just when you thought he was seeing a pending trouble, a pending doom, he flips the script. No pun intended. Great sweep. Ends up on top. This is a highly competitive fight here in this first round. Beautiful knockdown by Arroyo. I think I have to give him the nod simply because of that.
Certainly the most significant moment. First round replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Dom Heath, Joe Arroyo. Kind of a chess match, but the power advantage of Joe Arroyo really beginning to present itself.
Yeah, here we have it. Just Heath on the outside, and then Arroyo able to come in and counter as Heath left that jab out there. He comes over the top with the right hand, left hook, sits Heath down. Great job by Heath, though. He was rocked, but he kind of kept his head in this game, got his defenses right on bottom, was able to get that over and under sweep there from the bottom on Arroyo. Ended the round on top. However, I don't think it'll be enough to get him the nod.
Interestingly enough, Dom Heath, first one off the stool. His corner was entirely out of the cage before Joe Arroyo had even gotten himself off his own stool, David.
I mean, that definitely helps in the mental aspect of the fight. You know, if you're on the other end, you see your opponent do that, and you're like, man, I just set him on his butt, and he's right back up. However, Arroyo has to have a confidence going into the second round, knowing that he's already almost put his opponent out.
Arroyo, takedown attempt, not going early in round 2. And when you think about this mid-fight adjustment from Arroyo to add on a third strike to that really healthy, dynamic combo, I mean, that's what sat Dom Heath down.
We know Arroyo has the big right hand, as he's showing right there. But now, as you said, yeah, he has to look out for the opposite side hand, too. The nice 2-3 combo, 2-3-2 combo for Arroyo has been working.
Dom Heath again, relying on the lateral movement to enter the pocket. Doesn't seem to have the same sting on his shots. Arroyo's corner instructing him to not get too excited. Seems like he's staying pretty within himself, David.
Both of these guys are very composed. There's been a lot of action in this fight. I mean, both of them are dangerous, but both of them are still controlled in it, just looking for their opportunities. Looked like an incidental foul there on behalf of Heath.
Low blows happen, unfortunately, sometimes too frequently, David.
And that also is, you know, the stance. An issue with the stances as well, too. You see that a lot when you have the orthodox versus the southpaw.
Aoyo signaling that he is ready for the action. We resume the second round, 3:50 on the clock.
Here we have it, Heath ready to get back to action here. Jabbing his way in, switch kick attempt there. Just nice feints here by Heath. You almost never know when he's actually gonna throw because his feints are throwing off the timing here of Aoyo.
Hand fighting. Nice little leg kick there from Heath on the outside. Engaging is Aoyo, swinging some hammers. Not many of them connecting on Heath in that sequence. And you can sort of tell that they are both fighting with the maturity of professionals as Dom Heath gets cracked again. Aoyo swinging for section 385 with that right hand.
Pace starting to slow down a little bit for both of these guys in the fight. I think they're both competitive. Nice left hook, right uppercut there by Aoyo. But as I said, both of these guys see how competitive their opponent is. So they're becoming a little bit more measured, maybe a little bit more patient now as to not put themselves in trouble.
I mean, that was a Hail Mary swing from Aoyo. Unsure if you need to really overcorrect yourself in that way.
No, he got a bit ahead of himself there with that right hand, was a bit off balance. I would hate for Heath to, see that, pick up that timing as you spoke to earlier and start to counter. As Aoyo loads up on these punches. Nice body shot.
Aoyo mixing up the levels. 2 minutes left. Heath finds a right hand of his own. But there is just a difference in impact when Aoyo connects versus Heath, David.
Definitely the power. Aoyo has the power advantage when it comes to the striking. But Heath is still in it. When he does strike, he's dynamic. Powerful double leg by Aoyo. And we spoke to that athleticism, and we just see shades of it right now. He takes Heath down. Great move by pushing Heath back and head against the cage, which is going to keep him pinned down and maybe help Aoyo with the ground and pound aspect when he's on the ground. But Heath threatening an armbar here.
We can't forget the 4 submission victories that Dom Heath possesses, trying his best to entangle up Aoyo. But Joe Aoyo, wise to it all as we head to the final 60-second stretch of round number 2. It's just so impressive to me that Joe Aoyo, with 3 amateur fights, David Evans, is really outskilling a guy like Dom Heath.
Speaking of skills, Heath looking to transition to that arm bar. Look for him to maybe switch his hips over to the far side of the head of Aoyo and look to flip him over and isolate that arm. He could be dangerous here.
Aoyo fighting with everything he's made of. 30 seconds to go. He's stacking Heath.
Aoyo needs to get his right elbow past the hips of Heath here so he's out of danger. Maybe look for him to start shucking and posturing up, getting his hips in. However, Heath is adamant on stretching that arm out, and he's in a good position right now to do so.
Aoyo falling forward, 10 seconds. Dom Heath trying to crank with everything he has.
Don't grab the gloves.
Joe Aoyo making it to the 3rd round, but that is a glimpse at what the grappling of Dom Heath looks like, David.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely dangerous, man. You can't rest on top there. I think Aoyo thought he was in a good dominant position. However, he switched his hips, locked up that arm bar, and it was tight. Here we have Aoyo measuring that hand-to-hand combat, hand fighting, as you typically see with the orthodox and southpaw stances here. Aoyo did a great job going to the body with the left hook afterwards, and we saw that powerful double leg takedown by Aoyo. And just when you thought that Aoyo was going to dominate here because he's the wrestler, he's a pressure guy, he throws up the legs, isolates that arm, he gets the arm bar. I think he just ran out of time. I mean, who's to know with another 10 seconds or so where we would be right now.
And if you're in round number 3 and you're in Joe Arroyo's corner, I feel like I might be saying, hey, go to the body a bit more. That left hook that cracks the ribs was so clean. I feel like that could be something that Dom Heath hasn't seen yet.
Third battle. Now you guys can hug.
Nice display of sportsmanship as we come to the final 5 minutes of this flyweight clash between two debuting professionals, Joe Arroyo and Dom Heath.
As two debuting fighters, I mean, both of these guys they're starting off at a high level.
Nice uppercut over swing from Heath on the counter. Just really strong distance management from Joe Arroyo, which is deeply impressive considering he's got a 3-inch reach disadvantage, David.
Yeah, he's definitely not shying away from staying in the pocket here on Heath. He's walking him down, controlling the hand fighting portion with the two lead hands here, just keeping his left hand on the right hand there of Heath to time and keep him at the end of his right hand as well, that big bomb right hand that we saw him land earlier. But unfortunately, we are starting to see as the round goes on, he's loading up a lot. He's putting a lot into these punches, and he's putting himself off balance.
Beautiful kick there from Joe Arroyo. In my estimation, Dom Heath might need a stoppage to get his hand raised tonight.
I'd agree with you, Ben. Heath would need a stoppage. I mean, we know he's capable of it at this point. We've seen him threaten with the submissions. He's landed some good strikes on his own, and, you know, he's capable of doing it on the feet and on the ground.
Heath needs a lot more of that as he tries to rely once again on that lateral movement to get on the inside, but just very low volume from Dominic Heath here in round number 3.
Nice elbow there by Heath. Step in, lead elbow. Would definitely love to see more of that as this round progresses.
Joe Arroyo testing the guard with the jab, penetrating through to the chin. Coming to the midway point of this third and final round, Joe Arroyo touching the guard, not committing. Dom Heath, no volume or urgency from him to try and stop Joe Arroyo.
No, not as yet. We were seeing some tricky elbows. I thought he was going to kind of build off that, as it did give Arroyo some pause. However, Arroyo doing his thing, controlling the lead hand there, measuring. Oh, throwing that right hand a little bit too much there, and Heath able to time it and counter. If you're Heath at this point, it's just about throwing combinations, keeping Arroyo stepping back, and he needs to take control of this fight here.
Left hook.
Nice hook by Arroyo.
And Heath unable to effectively respond with offense of his own. He's just been a step behind in the striking, David.
I think at this point it's probably a cardio thing, because we see that he does have the capability. He's not so far out of the fight that he's timid. I think maybe he's just a bit tired and, you know, exhaustion and stepping in.
Nice right hand from Dom Heath. Backs off and resets to the center.
And where Heath was having success with his striking early in the fight was when he was using angles. He was stepping out, using his lateral movement. Now he seems to be more comfortable fighting in front of Arroyo, but then the output isn't there.
Heath again trying to jab his way into the pocket. Nice body kick from him there. Again, Arroyo slips right out of the way of the strike from Heath. Final 70 seconds.
60 seconds left here. If you're Heath, now is the time to put the pedal to the metal. Maybe look for a takedown. You saw you had some success on the ground.
Dom Heath with, again, some interesting level changes. Almost reminds me of Tony Ferguson throwing sand, David.
Arroyo now showing the feints. Feinting the leg attack, coming up top with the hand feints as well. Right now is the time for someone to put a statement on this fight.
Final 30 seconds, Arroyo gets the takedown. Dom Heath, though, wrapping up the neck.
20 seconds left. He has the neck here on the guillotine with Arroyo standing. I think Arroyo's doing exactly what he should do right now in this position. Keep him up. You don't want to allow him to stretch you out right now and attack the guillotine.
Dom Heath trying to re-guard on the body of Joe Arroyo. Arroyo carrying him around like groceries. What a performance from the flyweights. In all likelihood, Joe Arroyo extends his win streak to 3 overall and kicks off his pro career with a really fun striking display. This replay brought to you by Cat's Law. Arroyo, just really unique, creative striking. Dom Heath incorporated some elbows, had the counters, but just didn't have enough gas in the tank to throw more volume, David.
And I mean, I was impressed by Arroyo with the combinations and everything he was able to put together, along with the wrestling. And even though right here, as we saw to the closing of the fight, even though Arroyo was in dominant positions, Heath was never out of the fight. Whenever he was on his back, he was threatening submissions. Whenever he was in the air, he was threatening positions. I mean, I'm very much impressed by Heath, but I'm even more impressed by Arroyo. The time and the distance he's covered in such a short amount of time, the layers he's added in such a short amount of time as well.
And discipline, right? In those final 30 seconds when he had Heath up in the air, I feel a lot of guys that are maybe more inexperienced would slam onto the canvas and maybe push themselves further into the guillotine. Arroyo, not even concerned in the slightest, remained composed, and in all likelihood will kick off his pro career undefeated. I love it. What a fun fight between his 125ers for the official decision. Let's send it back inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. The judges scored the contest 30-27, 29-28, and 30-27, all for your winner by unanimous decision, Joe Arroyo.
A knockdown in the first round and then a very polished display in rounds 2 and 3. Checked all the boxes in his pro debut, David. Full fight replay brought to you by Pettis Martial Arts. Apologies, David.
No, you're going to check all the boxes for sure. I mean, both of these guys to make debuts here, there were standout performances on both ends. However, Arroyo came out on top with a testament to his wrestling and his ability to mix the boxing in as well. There we see it, a big 2-3 combination, putting his opponent down. However, even though Heath was down, he was never out in this fight. He was threatening submissions off of his back, even, you know, on his feet as well, though he didn't have the explosion as we just saw there with Arroyo on that nice double leg. He was very tricky. You know, whenever Arroyo rested the split seconds he did, Heath looked to execute his game plan. We know him as a jiu-jitsu ace. However, he wasn't able to pull it off.
Night belongs to Joe Arroyo. What a pro debut. Let's send it back inside to the APFC cage to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next bout of the evening. 3 rounds going down in the APFC Bantamweight division. And now, making the walk to the APFC cage first, and fighting out of Atlantic, Iowa, Dylan, the Dominator Cox.
just south of 30 years old, it is the Dominator, Dylan Cox, fighting out of Atlantic, Iowa. This will be his third APFC appearance. He debuted against Cody Lynn in a flyweight title fight. That night, it didn't go his way. His second APFC outing did not go his way, but David Evans, Dylan Cox is sure that the third time is the charm here.
You know what? He had 2 losses. I mean, you come in immediately with Cody Lynn, the champion. I mean, that's a tough outing for anyone on any day. However, Dylan Cox is coming out here tonight. He seems hyped. He seems prepared. I spoke with him yesterday. He seems confident more than anything.
83% finish rate in Dylan Cox's career. 5 first-round submissions, so the Dominator possesses fight-ending ability. He's just had some really tough starts, right? Jose Salgado in his second APFC outing at APFC 13 in October of 2024. These are not easy tests for Dylan Cox to compete against here.
Yeah, he's definitely one where you look at his record and you can't really make a snap judgment there because of the level of competition he's faced. I mean, here in the APFC, we bring the best of the best from around, and he loves it here. He loves fighting here, and he spoke to that actually when I talked to him yesterday as well, too.
Dylan Cox, third APFC outing. Maybe this time he gets his hand raised.
And now making the walk to the APFC cage and fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jose "No Mas" Vasquez.
We have seen him as an amateur. We've seen him as an undefeated prospect, but we've never seen Jose "No Mas" Vasquez looking to bounce back from defeat. His most recent timeout was a first-round submission defeat at LFA in March of this year. Now Vasquez, at 22 years old, is in a spot he's never been in before, David.
Young kid at 3-1, coming off of his first loss. I mean, it can be tough, but if anything, and I know he's the champion, he has a champion mindset, he sees that as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, and he has an opportunity tonight to step in and right the wrongs that he had in his last organization, in his last fight. He definitely has a great coaching staff, and Chris Wright, Scott Cushman, Duke Rufus from Rufus Sport. He's around champions. He knows the mentality it takes to be successful, and I look forward to seeing him go into the cage tonight with that chip on his shoulder, Ben.
100% finishing rate in Jose Vasquez's career, all by TKO. When Vasquez gets his hand raised, it is emphatic. Let's take it to a tail of the tape for these 2 bantamweights. Atlantic, Iowa's Dylan Cox, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin's Jose Vasquez. Vasquez 3-1 overall. Cox heavily more experienced at 6-6, and he will be 7 years older than Milwaukee, Wisconsin's Vasquez, as well as having 2 inches in height. Both came in at the bantamweight limit. Vasquez, -170 favorite. Dylan Cox, a +350 underdog. These odds brought to you by Combat Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC Bantamweight Division, sponsored by Wisconsin National Guard. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a wrestler. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and officially weighed in at 136 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 6 victories with 6 defeats, and fighting out of Atlantic, Iowa, Dylan the Dominator Cox. And across the cage, his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. He stepped on the scale and officially weighed 137.2 pounds, and he steps into the APFC cage with a professional record of 3 victories with 1 loss. And fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jose "No Mas" Vasquez. And your referee in charge is Chris Claviter.
Chris Claviter, third man inside for this bantamweight clash. Former APFC title challenger Dylan Cox trying to find his first APFC victory, but it comes against a tough customer in Rufus Sports, Jose Vasquez. Round 1 underway.
Vasquez coming out. He looks pretty patient. Dylan Cox is looking ready to get after it as well.
We've talked at length about it tonight, David Evans, but this Southpaw Orthodox matchup that really plays into the arsenal offensively that these fighters can play with.
We spoke about it last fight. You see the stance differential here. So look for Vasquez to jam that right side, the left side, excuse me, of Dylan Cox with his right hand, with that rear right foot as well, too.
Both fighters aiming to bounce back from defeat. Dylan Cox wanting to prove he belongs here in these APFC waters.
Dylan Cox, you know, he seems confident. He's switching his stance here. The only thing about switching your stance when you're going against a striker like Vasquez is your defense is never as good on one side as it is the other. So when he's switching stances, he has to be careful, making sure he's hiding the stance switch as well. You don't want to just switch stances in front of a striker like Vasquez.
And with all of these big looping shots and jumping maneuvers from Dylan Cox, it's just inviting risk in for one of those Vasquez right hands.
It's inviting risk, and when you have someone that's as technically calculated as Vasquez, it's just inviting opportunity as well. But Cox darting in with a hand of his own.
In order to have some success, you got to push your way into the pocket, David Evans. I like the gumption with which Dylan Cox is fighting tonight.
Dylan Cox pumping that jab, giving Vasquez just something to look at. Nice body kick there by Cox. Takes the angle, steps out.
And it's those moments right there where Cox is cloistered up against the cage. If he can survive those exchanges.
Beautiful head kick there by Vasquez. Didn't load it up. Nice hip feints there.
Oh, glancing right hand on Cox. 2:50 left in round number 1.
I feel like Vasquez rocked Cox a little bit with that kick. Definitely going to give him something to think about.
If you ask Jose Vasquez's corner, they certainly think so. Cox rushing in with a barrage of strikes. And that's a type of, oh, nice left hand from Dylan Cox.
Beautiful left hand by Cox. He took the left hand from, Vasquez took the left hands by Cox and then returned with one of his own.
There is an eagerness in the stand-up that we have not seen from Dylan Cox yet in APFC. I'm loving this development from him, David.
Vasquez is touching Cox with that right kick. He's not really putting a lot of effort into it just yet, but it's starting to find its mark. And I think I'm a little bit afraid going forward because if he really puts something behind it, that could be the all she wrote for Cox.
Cox trying to retreat to the center. Under 2 minutes to go in round number 1. He has been on the back foot in the striking so far, but I would say showing some real improvements compared to his first 2 APFC outings.
For sure. I remember in his title fight, I challenged Cox to put a little bit more effort and urgency. Right now, he's starting off at a good pace. He's creating action. He's creating motion, and I'm loving it. You can feel the tension building in this fight, man.
Vasquez now landing with some combinations, pushing Cox backwards. Head kick, not home. And David Evans, while it doesn't assist him in this fight, the mullet that Dylan Cox is rocking, pretty solid. Oh! Cox hits a right hand.
As solid as that right hand from Vasquez.
Dylan Cox meeting fire with fire against No Mas Vasquez.
Vasquez still looking to sneak that right foot over the shoulder of Cox. Cox did a great job.
Oh. This is where you got to be careful.
With the wrestling, taking the back immediately of Vasquez.
Dylan Cox, 5 first-round submissions. He wants to make it 6. 40 seconds to go on the clock.
Put your feet on the cage. Use the cage to help you.
Vasquez doing a great job isolating the hand that's threatening the neck here. Climbing the cage here. Look for him to get his back on the canvas.
Dylan Cox, beautiful transition, staying on the back. Nice way to ride the hips of Vasquez, David.
You know, a testament to that USA Wrestling tattoo on the back right shoulder of Cox as he rode and flowed during that transition. Now backpacking Vasquez and threatening the choke with 1 second left.
Beautiful conclusion to that round by Dylan Cox, reminding everybody, hey, the grappling is more polished than the striking, and giving Jose Vasquez something to think about ahead of this second frame, David.
Great move by Cox, you know, switching things up and going to his bread and butter, which is the wrestling and the grappling. Here we have Vasquez, you know, typically throughout the first round, he controlled much of the striking. However, Cox did not just give in. You know, he had moments of his own, darting in and out with his own combinations. I think Vasquez is a little bit more cleaner with his approach to striking. However, when it comes to the wrestling, Cox is confident, and he was definitely successful as he was able to obtain a dominant position, taking the back here of Vasquez, and then ultimately threatening the choke with 2 seconds to spare.
And one has to wonder, maybe the success of that final minute for Dylan Cox was a product of the 4 minutes of striking, 4 minutes of keeping it on the feet. Jose Vasquez might have even forgotten that the takedown could be a threat.
Yeah, and I think Cox maybe saw something and felt something, and only time will tell, and we'll see how he approaches the second round here. Maybe get to the wrestling with a little bit more urgency here now.
Round 2 underway. Dylan Cox landing a left.
Vasquez doing a great job with his hand placement. As you see, after being taken down, he moved his hand slightly down lower a little bit for the second round to prepare for the takedown.
Superman punch off the cage to circle out. I'm liking the creativity from Dylan Cox, but he is finding himself trapped against the cage, David, all too frequently.
Great job countering and stalking by Vasquez. Great shot by Cox. You saw how this went last round here.
Ooh. Dylan Cox directly in front of his corner here, receiving instruction almost on the back of Vasquez.
Nice chain wrestling by Cox. He got the takedown initially. Vasquez worked his way up. He switched sides and dumped him on his hip again. Now he's in a great position here as he locks in the boot. But Vasquez does a great job fighting the hands, looking to get his back towards the cage, puts the hand in the back pocket, and now he's free to go.
Vasquez's corner begging him to jump into the trenches here and push Cox further back. Nice right hand from Vasquez.
Short right hand by Vasquez. He's not loading up. Turning the wrist over. Sits Cox down, essentially. Now he's in a good position where Cox has his back against the cage, and now he has to work defensively.
Now this is where the question needs to be asked. We have seen Dylan Cox in several fights before start to wilt. Will he have some resilience, or can no mas make Cox quit?
Nice combinations by Vasquez. Short lead left hand.
Another right hand over the top. Dylan Cox trying to throw strikes, but he is looking a little bit labored as he lands his own 1-2, David.
Vasquez is doing a great job of countering and striking at the same time, nearly simultaneously. The way he keeps his head in, keeps his head in, throws the shots as Cox is throwing over the top.
Dylan Cox might be hurt from that head kick he's trying to tie up. Going for a little head and arm throw. Vasquez responds with an elbow, David.
Short elbow by Vasquez. Nice knee to the body. Posting and framing Cox against the cage here. Look for him to come over the top with that right hand or right elbow.
Cox with a desperation takedown. Almost has it. Nice whizzer by Vasquez.
Cox has to be careful when he takes shots now because Vasquez is privy to it. Look for Vasquez to maybe when they create space, throw some knees right up the middle to perture him from doing such. But Vasquez is going to work on top now. Kicking, soccer kick to the body. Shades of Christian Rodriguez in the UFC there.
Vasquez now really stacking the Dominator. And it feels like Dylan Cox's energy reserves are starting to fade, David.
Hip hard, hip hard.
Yeah, and I think as Cox fades, Vasquez is definitely, his energy is growing, his intensity is growing, his output is growing. Cox just holding on to the single leg as Vasquez just beats away at the body. Good hip pressure on top.
Again, Vasquez negating the grappling of Cox, trying to find some ground and pound. Entanglement from the Dominator, but only leads to more ground and pound from Vasquez.
You know, that's the risk you take when you attack the legs there. Your face is open. And Vasquez was smart. He just started raining down punches from top. Now he's in a better position, taking the back of Cox here in the second round, threatening the neck.
Jose Vasquez, choking arm is in, a lot of time on the clock. Dylan Cox able to defend, but for how long, David? Oh! That is about as illegal of a blow you could possibly get.
I would hate to see Vasquez throw away all of that work he just put in with that beautiful, well, not beautiful, illegal knee.
Let's take one more look at that. This illegal knee brought to you by Cat's Law. Maybe we'll have to persecute for that one. As Jose Vasquez is retreating, making some space, David Evans, it appears to me that he slams.
Vasquez looking at the camera.
Vasquez's corner is trying to sound off that it was a body shot.
Can we get the replay here?
All right, we're going to take a quick look at that. Judges have access to the instant
knee may
replay.
have potentially went to the left shoulder here of Cox and not the face. As you see, Vasquez actually framed on the head to protect the knee from projectiling into the face of Cox.
Let's take one more look at that from this angle here.
As you see, Vasquez frames on the face of Cox as to not knee him. However, it's just a risky technique because of how it looks and how the optics are here.
How many other angles of this knee do we possibly have?
It's a tough one when you really look at it.
We're in the second round? We're in the second round, thank you.
I think in that one, Vasquez is just maybe a little too intelligent for his own good.
You can hear the sold-out crowd in the Potawatomi Casino giving their reactions to that move from Jose Vasquez. Dylan Cox does not look like he has his wits about him, David.
The crowd chanting BS, perhaps after seeing the replay, they don't believe it was a shot to the head there with that knee. However, Cox seems to be wearing it as such.
Let's take one more look at that as slowed down as we possibly can. To see, here it is, Vasquez making space. Dylan Cox's knee is clearly down.
Look at the left hand and how he frames on the face to prevent the knee from actually going to his face. He used his forearm almost as a crosshair to guide the knee to the shoulder, but I mean, still risky nonetheless. Optically.
Here it is one more time. Vasquez.
Watch how Vasquez frames with the left hand on the face. He prevents the knee from going to the face of Cox with the frame. It's on the shoulder. It's on the shoulder.
You know, I hate to be such a contrarian. To me, it almost does still look like a part of the shin catches the skull of Dylan Cox on the left side of his face.
It's a tough one. I mean, I don't think it's a matter of contradiction. It's just
Dylan Cox vomiting inside the cage.
We're done. We're done.
And the fight will be waved off. We'll have to wait to see what the decision is. Disappointing result here for both gentlemen. Vasquez wanted something more definitive, wanted to bounce back in a better fashion. Dylan Cox, in his third APFC appearance, truly believed that tonight was the night where he finally would get his hand raised. And he looked like he improved, David, but this is just an unfortunate sequence of events.
He improved for sure. I mean, this is a tough outing for both guys, as you say. I mean, I would love to see the replay again. I know you said he possibly caught the shin, but it's so close. You could almost call it either way.
Well, In talking about calling it, let's send it inside to figure out the official decision. It's handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee Chris Klebeter has put an official stop to the fight due to an illegal blow that was landed inadvertently. Dylan Cox cannot continue. This fight is ruled a no contest.
Obviously, the Potawatomi audience is very frustrated for Milwaukee's own Jose Vasquez, but it is, listen, Dylan Cox is not an Oscar-winning actor, and he just threw up into a bucket. So unless he forced himself to somehow throw up with no assistance in front of us, I have to be led to believe that there was some impact illegally to his skull.
I hear you, Ben. I hear you.
Let's take another look at the replay.
I don't think he's acting at all, but I mean, just looking at the nuances of that knee, I think Vasquez actually was a little too smart for his own good. Look how he frames off the face. I don't know.
Right there, the shin connects.
It was right next to it. I don't believe it. I personally don't believe it connected. I mean, it's a tough call either way. I don't think you're crazy for thinking that.
Dylan Cox, why would they let him walk down the stairs unassisted? Come on. The guy just threw up into a bucket.
I'm not quite sure. That's a tough one to call, man. I think the no contest without intention is the best way you can call that, to be honest.
Well, unfortunately, the bad news about to get worse here at APFC. Let's send it inside to handsome Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a medical emergency, our bout between Angelo Pettis and Paul Bergen has been canceled. We appreciate your understanding and support, and will now be taking a brief intermission before we kick off our main card. Stay tuned, the action continues shortly.
I mean, if you think about the worst news that this Milwaukee crowd could receive after Jose Vasquez's DQ, no contest, it would be Angelo Pettis' fight being canceled.
When it rains, it pours, Ben. When it rains, it pours.
Well, talking about pouring, there is going to be a lot of action pouring out of this main card live on UFC Fight Pass. We've got a brief intermission, but we will be right back here at APFC 17.